I need to link this over. Let me go home and channel. Okay, there we go. Stand by. I need to share this. How do I copy? Okay. Facebook. How is this shit never easy? Fort Bragg Hunt Club. All right. Let me see here. How do I fucking watch this? All right. Oh, I gotta turn that on. All right, Brian Ward. Good evening. Hey, Brian, how can you hear us? Is our sound good? I know there's a delay. Yeah, hear you loud and clear. All right, good. All right, look, so before I get started here, just a reminder, an update on yesterday's post. If you have kids, I guess junior high to high school, don't miss out on the laptop giveaway. I explained everything in the video on why we're giving them away. We need to get rid of them, so get your kids to write up that letter. And of course, if I'm their hero, they might win. They might have a better chance. But anyway,
sounds like it's rigged.
it might be rigged. We just got to get rid of these damn things. Anyway, Chuck Brandon, man, thanks for coming.
Good to be here, man.
Yeah, so I know I put on the post that I didn't know who you were. Brian Reese, the guy that works at Harley Davidson, suggested you come on here. And as I was putting out the post, or while we were talking, I was like, wait a minute, Chuck Brandon sounds familiar. Turns out we
go way back.
We go way back. Of course, you were Big Dog platoon sergeant, and I was just an E4 rifleman. So you were probably I probably thought you were more of an asshole than anything. But
probably.
No, he was. Chuck was he was a platoon sergeant, and I was in the scout platoon, and then in Charlie company. So our paths crossed. It's a small world. Yeah. So, okay, so I know a little bit about you, just in a brief conversation. Why don't you tell everybody, where you're from?
Yeah, just like you, man. I'm from Fayetteville. My dad's retired sergeant major here at Bragg. Grew up here, graduated from 71st. And that's how my ties go, hunting Fort Bragg. My dad was a big hunter, and, man, I can remember him pulling me up in a tree in Area K by a rope before I even handled a gun. So I've been in the woods my whole life. When I was old enough to start carrying a gun, we hunted Fort Bragg religiously a lot, starting in the early 80s, 79, 80 time frame.
How old are you?
53.
53, okay.
Yeah. Killed my first deer on Bragg in 82 and double F. So I've definitely seen it evolve. I haven't deer hunted Bragg in a long time. Got a lot of friends that do, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen the whole evolution.
So you go back to the days where you kind of had to camp out the night before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes 2 days.
Yeah.
Depending on what areas were open. But yeah, grew up here, joined the Army like a lot of us do, moved away, always came back here, spent a lot of time in division, ended up not planned, but ended up coming back to Fort Bragg and retiring here in 2018.
Where did you go after you left? You went to Benning, you
said?
I
went to Benning, taught ANOC, and stayed at Benning, got tagged, DA Select Drill Sergeant, couldn't get out of it, did that gig, and then deployed with a unit on Fort Benning. Come back and came back to Bragg in February of 2012 and then retired in 18.
Yeah.
And just stayed here.
Okay. Yeah. So, but you're from here, so you probably
wasn't the plan. Didn't want to retire and live the rest of my life in Fayetteville, but it's home, and I hate moving, man. Yeah. And I had a good job opportunity coming right out of retirement. Got in the construction field and industry. That's still what I'm doing now. So I just decided to hang out.
Yeah.
Stay here, man.
Fayetteville, man. I've lived I've tried to move away. Last year and a half ago, I moved to Nicaragua. Lasted 8 months. I've moved to Texas. That lasted 6 weeks. I've lived in, uh, not Dubai, but Bahrain. I've lived in Alabama, and something about this area, just because it's home,
Just sucks you back in.
it just sucks you back in. I mean, if you think about it, Fayetteville really does have just about everything you need.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to an hour and a half west or an hour and a half east, your mountains, or you got the beach.
Yep.
I mean, there's not a whole lot. People say there's nothing to do here. Like, oh, what are you looking to do? But yeah, I always get stuck here. I'm in the construction business too, and this is where I'm plugged in. So this is where I always come back. But so going back to Fort Bragg, when's the last time you hunted Fort Bragg?
I still duck and turkey hunt Bragg.
Okay, so you're still familiar with?
Yeah, I'm still familiar with it.
So you've seen it, like the evolve.
Haven't deer hunted. When I came back to Bragg, my dad was on a lease out in Bladen County, 6,000 acre lease, so he was able to get me on there. So it kind of shied me away from Bragg, having a private lease.
Yeah.
So I never deer hunted back on Bragg, but I've always turkey and duck hunted.
Okay.
On Bragg, I've deer hunted a couple times. Went with a couple buddies of mine, but
yeah.
I got a lease now out in Moore County with 4 or 5 other guys. Got about 400 acres, and it's just too easy.
Oh
man.
yeah. That's the problem. It's too easy.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of us, for me anyway, like I have been looking for land, specifically looking for land in Moore County to move and build.
Yeah.
And just like be settled. But I found a few other, because property's a little cheaper in like Bladen County area.
Yep.
I get out there and I find a good 25 acre tract. I'm like, this would be perfect. But then I always in the back of my mind, it's so far away from Bragg. And like right now, I'm so close to it. Yeah. And I love hunting Fort Bragg. I don't know, even if I got access to private property, but something about the challenge, and in my mind, I guess I've just convinced myself that my 8-pointer may be smaller than yours, but I got it on Fort Bragg, so mine's cooler.
Right.
So it's like style points that we've kind of invented with the internet,
And Bragg's got quality deer.
They got really nice deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's come a long ways from the early 80s.
So when you were hunting in the early 80s, I've heard that the deer population was bigger back then, like before they started?
It was out of control. And that's kind of what brought me here. Me and Brian Rice we were just, bullshitting one day talking about, it's probably, now I remember hunting on Bragg in the early 80s where it was hard to find a deer. I'd say the golden years are probably the mid 80s to the mid 90s. And it was off the chain. Anybody that hunted back then, it was literally off the chain, cowboy shit and killing.
Yeah.
I mean, we killed deer.
Yeah. What was the limits back then, if you remember?
I believe it was 6. I want to say you had 2 buck tags, 2 hunter's choice, and 2 doe tags, antlerless.
What's a hunter's choice?
Doe or buck.
So you could kill 4 bucks.
Oh yeah.
Because when I first started hunting Fort Bragg, I think it was 2015, 14, 15. I think it was 14. You had 4 buck tags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. And North Carolina as a whole, you can tell that we do that, But those golden years, man, just talking to my buddies, like I said, me and Brian Rice, we're talking about the old days, man. And like, we killed deer. Everybody did. I think yearly counts, probably late 80s. There was years where Fort Bragg killed 1,500, 2,000 deer. Wow. I can remember when the rut peaked, coming up the skinning shed on a Saturday night, and there'd be 70, 80 deer in line to be checked.
Yeah, you don't see that nowadays.
You don't see that anymore. But
why do you think that is? You think it's from the woodpecker rescue?
No, I think a lot of it's predation, loss of habitat. We control burn Bragg every 3 years.
Right. But aren't they doing? My understanding was they're doing that because they're trying to return the habitat to where it was. Like they say, the oak tree is not native to North Carolina. How it got here, I don't know.
Who cares? Deer don't eat pine straw.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason. The woodpecker. Habitat,
they
like that savanna pine.
Yeah, I could dive into that all day long. I'm not a biologist by any means.
Yeah.
But I can remember, back in the 80s, there's so many, the hardwood bottoms, the hardwood ridges, the scrub oak ridges, and obviously the deer have adapted. But I think I think you definitely see a difference in the population.
Yeah.
So Bragg had a guy named Mike Honeycutt in the early 80s that came on as a lead biologist. And he had this idea of, hey, we're going to start shooting does. And a lot of these old timers freaked out. Like, you didn't shoot does.
Okay.
Like, why not? So they did a lottery system. And I remember them issuing a metal tag that you just put it in the ear if you got a lottery for an either sex slot.
Okay.
And man, I'm gonna say probably within 5 years, the deer population exploded. You started seeing better deer. Now, when I say better deer, mid 80s, you killed a 100-inch 8-pointer like you're a gangster.
Okay, so they weren't as
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
No mass. And like I said, I'm not a biologist. I really don't know why, but I think the quality of deer nowadays is a lot better than it was back then. And like I said, man, I know so many people. We killed deer. I know at that time in the mid 80s, I know two active duty first sergeants in USASOC. They would kill between the two of them 30, 40 deer a year.
Yeah. So they were just going overland.
Me and my buddies, we were all 17. We had our driver's license in the late 80s. 16, 17, 18 years old. And that's when I met Brian Rice. I actually met him hunting on Bragg.
Okay.
I had a group of friends, about 6 or 7 of us, man, and we would just trip deer to the house. Somebody'd sign you out, sign you back in, and we'd take them all to somebody's house, and we ate it all. You know, nothing went to waste.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't nothing to shoot 12, 15 deer in a year.
Yeah, no, I've heard that from other people.
I mean, it was just killing, man. But at that time, Fort Bragg, I would literally consider it a sportsman's paradise. It don't matter what you hunted. We didn't have any turkeys back then, none at all. If you saw a turkey, that was something really rare. But quail, I can remember Hugh Smith, Doug Bland, those old guys. They were all retired sergeant majors. They had bird dogs. They would go out and kill limits every time they went.
There's still good quail out there. I mean, I don't quail hunt. I jump all the time.
I know just quail in general anywhere. The population's down because we're killing the habitat and the predation.
Yeah. Define predation. I don't know what that means.
Coons, skunk. Well,
I got skunk. You. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Coyotes.
Yeah.
You know how many coyotes are running around?
The predators. Yeah.
I mean, we got
not a lot. I tell you what, I hear them.
Well, at a point, we got to a point where on a federal installation they were allowing you to take 22 and shoot coyotes during squirrel season, or hunt squirrels with a 22. And the mentality behind that was, hey, if you see a coyote, smoke him.
Yeah.
So I think that's got a lot to do with the deer population.
Wait, having more coyotes or less coyotes?
Having less coyotes.
Yeah. Okay. Got
you never saw a coyote in the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know when they started migrating in, but I don't think I saw a coyote in North Carolina, hunting in North Carolina till late 90s.
Okay.
I know they're here, but just this area.
Yeah. I've only seen like 4 coyotes since I've been hunting. I shot one year. I couldn't find it. Then I've seen them a few, like four of them. It's not like, but then again, I don't go hunt. Yeah, I think you can hunt them.
I know at one point in the early 2000s, they were a problem on Bragg.
Okay. But they do a lot of trapping too. Like when you sign out now, they ask you, and if you take part in the survey, like how many fox squirrels you saw, and if you saw any coyotes. And then there was years I remember where they were like trapping coyotes a lot, but I don't know if they were trapping them in the. I heard they were not trapping them in the impact zones. So everybody thinks there's like hella deer pinned up in the impact zone, and like they're smart enough not to come out. But if they're not trapping coyotes in there, then maybe the coyotes are keeping them down. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's an interesting topic right there, the impact areas. Because when I was coming up, it was impact areas, you can hunt them.
Yeah.
And man, the deer that was in the impact area, and I guess nobody really knows why. Obviously, it's a pressure thing because on Bragg right now we got 80,000 troops on Bragg.
Yeah.
How does that pressure of those guys training affect the deer movements, the deer pattern?
I think it definitely F's up. Have I said the F? First of all, have I? I don't.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I've been waiting.
Did.
I've been waiting.
I got to work on. I'm working on it. I think that as far as patterning deer, like when I first started hunting, I'd hear from these old guys in Alabama, like they got the deer pattern. They know about where he's going to be every 2 days based on their corn pile and their cameras or whatever. But you try to do that on Fort Bragg, and maybe they are patterning in, like, say, area S2, but then troop movement comes in and spends a week bivouacked in there. That's gonna mess that up, right? So patterning deer around here, I've never been able to actually like learn how to do it because of the troop movement.
It's hard. I think it's hard probably on any public land.
But they got to get used to, because I've seen deer come up in, like, on the golf course in Kings Grant.
Yeah,
the deer won't even run. You drive a golf cart right by them, they'll just eat it because they're so used to it. So that's got to like help some hunters maybe a little bit, or does it make them more skittish? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think, personal thoughts. I think a deer knows where he's safe and where he's not safe. You hear a lot of people talk about when you start talking to a more mature deer, oh, he's nocturnal. That deer's not nocturnal. He's nocturnal where you're hunting.
Yeah.
Or he's nocturnal where your corn pile is or where your cameras are, but that deer's not nocturnal. So you're telling me he's laying down for 12, 13 hours a day and not moving?
Right.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
That deer's up moving around. He's got to get up and eat.
Yeah. Well, it's
I think a deer's got to get up every 6 hours and eat.
I thought it was 4.
4 hours,
yeah,
4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, he's just nocturnal where you're hunting at, or where you're looking for him at. So I think a mature deer is smart enough to know where he's safe and where he's not safe. I just had a buddy kill I think he scored probably a 173 in East Texas. He's been hunting that deer for 3 years.
Wow.
He's a 6-year-old deer. And that deer was moving in between houses. He had him somewhat patterned. He knew where he was bedding. He knew where he was going. But that deer was moving in between houses. Not like a subdivision. And he finally caught up with him, and the dude slipped up after 3 years of hunting him, and he got him about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But
so you think they kind of stay? They can kind of sense. I mean, I guess they're animals. They have like a sense. They kind of know that certain noise is safe.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I believe that because of the mature deer that I have got on post has always been near a major road, like close to it.
I was going to get to that. It's interesting you say that.
And I think that like, there's those ditches along the road. I've jumped them out of there. Like I always just had this theory that like a mature buck, he can lay in a ditch, say right on Long Street, right up by range control.
Yeah.
And he hears all the traffic and all the noise, and he knows he's safe. And as soon as that quiets down, he knows at that point he can get up and go, and he can go into the woods and do his thing. That's just kind of been like a feeling that I've had, because I always jump them up out of there, and I've always.
So I've got a buddy that has hunted Bragg longer than I have. I think he's probably about 10 years older than me. And that's always been a theory and a strategy of his is hunting off the road. And it's you got the troop movement, you got the training, you got the pressure, you got the hunter pressure. So those deer naturally are going to, his thoughts were that those deer are naturally going to move closer to the road. And back in the day, man, nobody really trophy hunted back in the day. Mid-late 80s, I could probably count on 2 hands some guys that consistently hunted trophy deer. And when I say a trophy deer, I'm talking 100-inch, 8-point. Same guy, he killed, I want to say it might have been a 10. There's probably a 95 to 100-inch 10-point in Area K, hunting a saddle, and he could read license plates on McKellar's Road. That's how close to the road he was when he killed that deer. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but it was mid to late 80s, probably closer to mid 80s.
So that was like a big deer back then. Like
you
said that. So hunting obviously has evolved all the way back from your granddaddy wearing flannel and smoking cigarettes to where it's at now. And I see the riff online and just in comment sections and just in conversations. 1985, a 100-inch deer was, hey, that's congratulations. But everybody else's deer was a small buck or, a doe, and there wasn't as much competition. It seems like for big antlers, like now that seems to be the mainstay for a lot of hunters. Like I'm going after mature deer only. And F you, because you killed that little buck, he would have been so it kind of changes. So there's like a riff, obviously, because a lot of guys liked it the way it was. But you can't tell me that you weren't a stud if you just said it earlier, that if you killed a 8-pointer that was 100 inches, you were a gangster. Like, I was still like,
I mean, so when I say some guys that like hunted mature deer, and what was a mature deer back then? You're talking a 3-year-old 8-pointer. A guy named Willie Poteet comes to mind. Man, this dude killed, I can't remember what year it was. It was probably 87, 88 maybe. He killed a deer in X. That deer probably 130 inches, probably a 5 or 6-year-old deer, weighed 179 pounds.
Wow, that's cool.
Now, and that dude's one of those guys that religiously trophy hunted on Fort Bragg and was successful every year. Wherever he went, wherever he pinned, and we didn't have cameras back then. Nobody's throwing corn.
Right.
It's getting out scouting.
Could you bait back then, or has Fort Bragg always been no baiting?
No, even North Carolina you couldn't bait back then.
Okay.
I don't think even in state you couldn't bait until early mid 90s.
Okay.
Probably mid 90s, maybe early 90s.
Yeah, because wasn't crossbow hunting illegal at one time too? Okay, I remember that.
Yep. But yeah, you had guys like Willie Poteet, the Pova boys, Mike Pova. He had 2 or 3 brothers, and his dad's a retired sergeant major. And they hunted northeast area, shotgun only, northeast, like Simmons, Boundary Line Lake area.
I used to hunt out
there. That was before the NTAs were there.
Yeah.
And those dudes, that family, I think there was 2 or 3 brothers and the old man, and they consistently every year shot a trophy deer.
Really?
And again, I'm talking 100.
That's like area deer. PP, Papa.
Yeah.
In that area?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The Christensen boys, their dad was a guy out in the unit. Mr. Timmons, Mike Timmons' dad, Chuck Jones, Clifford Jones on the site. Chuck hunted P religiously.
Yeah.
And
he might still.
Yeah.
No, I mean Clifford. Cliff, yeah.
For sure. And like literally probably a handful of guys that went out there specifically to kill big deer. I think 89.
So it's not a new concept.
No, it's not a new concept. It's just I think hunters go in stages. You got a shooting stage when you're a kid. All you want to do is shoot shit, like a dove hunt. You just want to shoot. You don't care if you kill anything.
Yeah.
Then you get to where if you got the animals, whatever you're hunting, then it's you want to kill as much as you can. You're going to limit out, or some people shoot more. And then after you get that out of you and get like us, it's more methodical.
Yeah.
And I think those guys at that time were very methodical hunters, and they wanted a trophy mature deer. But that wasn't the cool thing back then.
Okay. Well, what was the cool thing back then?
You still got a generation of guys. If you put a 2-year-old 8-point in front of him with 3 does, he wants some meat. He's going to shoot the 8-point.
Yeah.
So I think we've evolved generationally to where we're more conscious of, hunting more mature deer. Like I said, man, my heyday, I was 17, 18 years old, and all I worried about was killing.
Yeah.
I'd kill a nice deer every year. That's because I was in the woods all the time. I was skipping school, barely graduated from 71st.
All right.
Hunting season, I was in the woods. And you spend time in the woods, you're gonna learn the deer and the impact areas, man. You could only hunt the buffers in the impact area. You couldn't hunt the actual impact area.
Right.
But
y'all still were.
Yeah, me, Brian Rice, James Houston, man, those old places like Gaddy's Mountain, the Horseshoe in West Coleman. We would walk a mile in there.
And
where
were y'all hunting out of back then? On the ground? Were you climbing trees?
No, it was climbing trees
with
man.
Climbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Started with a baker, or my dad made homemade lock-ons with screw-in steps.
Okay.
I can remember getting in the woods hour and a half early, because you're putting a lock on up in the dark.
Yeah.
Bow hunting. with old whitetail twos, Bear whitetail twos and Jennings bows. And then the tree lounge came out, and that was a game changer.
Yeah.
Because you could sit all day.
Is that the one that kind of reclines
Yeah.
back? And
weighed like 47 pounds, loud as shit.
Yeah.
Like Willie Poteet, that dude, man, he'd sit 13 hours.
Wow. Yeah.
But
I've done that,
it
but
paid off too. Yeah, I have too. I mean, I've done it in lock-ons hunting Midwest.
Yeah.
So I think generationally people are getting more conscious, you know. And if you've ever hunted the Midwest,
I haven't.
It's a total different world, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've hunted Kansas, I've hunted Missouri, hunted Illinois, and then I come back here and you got a 2.5 month gun season.
Yeah.
And there's no management standards. Texas does a really, really good job with their buck management, and it's all what you want. You know, if you want to shoot trophy deer,
I think secretly everybody does. I don't believe the guy.
Sure.
I don't believe the guy that says that he doesn't care. He just wants to shoot 6 deer and he wants to eat the meat. I don't believe him. I think that's a cop out. I think that's the same guy that like he doesn't play on the baseball team because he's just like
right.
I don't care about winning. I'm there to have fun. Like that guy is kind of like media. What's the word I'm looking for? People that celebrate mediocrity because they don't want to put in the work to achieve it. I could be wrong. It's just when I hear some guy say, "Oh, I just like being in the woods and every deer is a trophy and this delicious, bountiful harvest." Yeah. I think that's all bullshit.
I think there's probably a few out there.
And because deer hunting
to each its own.
It's stressful.
If you think a 2-year-old 8 points a trophy, then kill it.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with that. Like, when I first started hunting, I killed everything. I mean, you can see the deer that I've got on the wall up here. That was like one of my first ones. I didn't care, buck, doe, 4-point, 6-point. If I got an 8-point.
I think my big thing is if you're gonna shoot that 2-year-old 8-point, hey, have at it.
Yeah.
But don't turn around and bitch because the quality of deer is not where you think it should be, or and I love Texas. Texas has got so many programs. It's got to be outside 13 inches or 4 on one side. You got the MLD program. I mean, I've personally seen a ranch that I started hunting on in 2012 or 2013. They entered the MLD program, and I with my own eyes got to see the evolution of the quality of bucks on that ranch.
Yeah.
And it's actually 2 ranches together, and I don't know, they're probably 3,000 acres, and the 2 guys that hunt it now, I mean, they won't shoot nothing under a 5 or 6-year-old.
Okay.
So they got that
sustainable though? Don't you, at some point you have too many males? Is this a high? Is this a high fence, or is this?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. So they're still
running. It's open range, and me and one of those guys literally had a conversation not too long ago. I seen something. It was a podcast and talking about mature deer disappearing from a property, and we were talking about that. And he's like, we've got 5 or 6-year-olds that just disappear, and a buddy down the road, 8 miles down the road, got him on camera the next year.
Okay.
And deer are going to roam, man. Mike Waddell killed a deer in Kansas with a tracking collar. That deer ranged 13 miles during the rut. They're going to move.
Yeah.
But back to the original point, if you want to shoot young bucks, shoot them. But you're never going to have trophy bucks.
Yeah.
And some people, and I think I'm in the methodology stage. I want to learn more about the deer. I watch them more. So I'm going to let those young deer go. Not because I give a shit about shooting them or not. I mean, hell, I killed an 8-point probably 2 weeks ago on my lease. I haven't measured him yet. I think he'll go between 125 and 130.
That's a good deer, though.
That's a good North Carolina deer, but that deer was 5 years old.
Yeah. So he was on the downgrade, like.
And that same sit, I almost shot an 8-point. I was watching. I couldn't really age him, and I wasn't paying attention to horns. or antlers at all.
Mm-hmm.
He was a nice 8. He was probably about that size, maybe a little bit smaller than that. Very symmetrical, but I couldn't get a good look at his body. And I decided I wasn't going to shoot him, and I kept watching him through the binos, and then I saw his tarsal glands and like jet black from the gland all the way down to his hoofs, and I'm like, that's a mature deer. So now I'm second guessing myself, and I was like, I ought to shoot that deer and just ground check him.
Yeah.
And I talked myself out of it, and by the time I figured it out, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna ground check that deer, and he meandered on. And an hour later, this other deer came in, which I know was a mature deer.
Yeah. I ain't quite there yet. If I think he's over, I think in my mind, that's a 115 or a 120. I'm shooting him.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, especially on Fort Bragg, I'm not there yet where I'm letting those deer.
If you pass a 3-year-old deer on Fort Bragg, you might never see a deer again.
Yeah.
You might not get that opportunity again, and that's just reality of public land.
That 6-pointer that I shot Saturday, I thought was an 8-pointer. And keep in mind now, he was
a nice deer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with him. I mean, that tagged me out.
And you got to shoot all 6s.
Huh?
That's a rule me and a buddy of mine got.
All 6s.
If he's a 6, he's going to die.
Why?
Just because.
Just because?
Yeah,
hey, that's a good rule.
Because he don't deserve to live.
Yeah, but if you're gonna tag them, you don't want to run out of tags. Now, if you take, if you're one of those guys that we won't go into that on camera. But so tagging them, I'm like, okay. But I tried to do the whole, okay, this is how the pros. This is not pros. This is how guys that have been hunting a long time that are being more methodical with it. Let me look at him. Okay, he stopped in front of me. Now the wind was blowing this way, and he stopped out here 40 yards. And I'm like, all right. So I get my gun up to put him in my scope, and my scope was zoomed all the way in for some reason. I never adjusted it back out, so I couldn't find him. And as soon as I did that, he must have picked up on my movement, and he took off. But he didn't take off running. He froze for a second, and then he started trotting off. And my reflex was to shoot him, because he was getting away. I didn't know what he was. I thought he was a nice. I saw his brow tines because they were like that. So it was a reflex shot, and he started running, and I yelled at him like, "Hey!" I literally said, "Hey, MFer, stop!" And he stopped and looked, and that's where you see the next shot and put him down. When I walked up on him, he was laying like a pile of leaves. So I thought his G2s were hidden, and I was ecstatic because I was like, "Oh, that's got to be a 135." And when I grabbed his horns, it was a 6. But I looked at it, I was like, I'm still happy with him. But
I'd 100% shot that dude.
I'm not
a 6 that big. That's like I've seen people shoot 140-inch 8-point, and this is Midwest. Like, oh man, that deer only scored 140 inches. Yeah, but it's an 8-point.
Yeah.
How many 140-inch 8-points have you seen in your life?
Not many. Those are big 8-points.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, those tines are tall. Those brow tines are tall.
It's all about what you want, man, and where you at. Hunting. I'm not going hungry, so I shoot those all day long.
Yeah. And I don't even like. I mean, I do eat deer, but I don't like it. I mean, if you put it in a hamburger or spaghetti or sausage, it might as well be pork, beef, lamb. It doesn't really taste any different to me. Yeah. But as far as the roasts and the steaks, I'm gonna pick a ribeye every day.
Yeah.
That's just me. So I'm not. To me, the meat's a bonus. I literally like to go hunting. I like to be in the tree. I like the whole process of it.
Yeah.
And I really like the adrenaline of when it all works out, which is twice a year. Out of 1,000 hours that go into it, 45 seconds is bliss. I'm hooked on that part of it. And then, of course, I want to bring in the biggest deer. I want to have the biggest nuts. I'm sorry. I'm just that type of guy.
Well, I think
most guys are.
Competitiveness in everybody.
Yeah. And I don't want to shoot that little 5-pointer because I don't want to bring it to the skin shed where I'm going to be judged by my peers. You know what I mean? I should be there are people that are like, oh, that shouldn't matter. And I don't care what people think. Yes, you do. Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah. That's human nature.
You ain't fooling nobody with that. We're just polite and we don't call you out,
On that, it's funny you said that. It's probably 90, 91. I went hunting with my dad, and we were hunting Z. It was black powder. And these 2 deer were underneath me for an hour. I was like, you don't leave. I'm killing one of you. And I did. I smoked this yearling, probably 60-pound yearling. And we get to the truck, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, I ain't tagging that deer. We're taking him home. We're gonna hit Rayford and Bass Road, hit Rayford Road.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm not putting illegal deer in my truck. I'm like, what? Are you serious right now? He made me tag that deer and check him in.
Oh man.
And I remember we got the skinning shed about mid-morning, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna check this thing. I'm gonna get it cleaned and get it in the truck and get it out of here.
Get out of here quick before somebody rolls up.
And there was 2 retired sergeant majors that worked inside the wildlife center, Billy Lee Sr. and Dan Martin. And they saw my dad's truck out there and walked up there and saw that little deer, and I never fucking lived it down. Never. Good. And but it's not the only yearling I've ever killed.
On that too, I just want to say, if you're a new hunter and it's your first buck or your second buck, you're getting it, just take your licks. Kill the deer because you want to kill it, but take your licks when take responsibility for the fact that you killed that little deer and that we're going to make fun of you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Eventually you'll get to the point to where you don't want no one making fun of you. It'll make you a better hunter, and then of course we'll have a better buck.
Yeah, and it goes back to
because I've
you're out there kill deer, and if it's legal, who cares?
Yeah. No, but I've hung, I shot this little deer one time. This was when I first started hunting. I just met Randy, who's my hunting partner, and he's a joker, and this guy brought in 2 10-pointers that he killed on McCall. There was bucks hanging. This was like that one weekend where the skin shed was full, and here's my little sport 4-pointer hanging, and everybody's talking, and Randy kept saying, enough about that deer. I want to hear about this deer, this monster. And of course, it's making fun of me. It's take your licks, man. I didn't like it, but I accepted it.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
What it is, and I'll get better, and I feel like I'm getting there. So, that's good to hear. That it was still, because I argue with people all the time. I'm like, look, dude, you have this romantic memory of your grandpa patting you on the head, telling you that everything's going to be okay. But when you went to sleep, the men were drinking beer and they were bragging. I was making fun of your deer. You're in maybe not all like, but you are jealous of the fact that I've got the bigger deer,
right? In
a nice way, not in a hater type of way. I just can't ever see men hanging out and that not being a thing.
Yeah.
But,
and how many people shoot big deer that's totally by luck?
I think almost all.
I'm going to say probably 90%.
90%. So we were talking about this on the last podcast. See, I think that 90% of hunting is luck. That 10% is where like good hunters become good hunters by managing that 10%. You can have all the wind in your favor. You can have all the elements. You can kind of know that the deer is there, even with your cameras. Even if you know that, you got your cameras. These guys, they say they don't hunt, they kill because they have their cameras set up and they already know he's in there and they know. You don't know if he's coming out there. So you just kind of like counting cards in blackjack. If you're familiar with that technique, the guys that used to count cards before they started using like 20 decks, it's not a sure thing. It just puts the odds in your favor that all the face cards have been used. So that 10% you can somewhat manage, but I think it really falls down to you got to be in the right place at the right time. And that deer does not have a map and he doesn't have a schedule.
So the deer I killed a couple weeks ago, I got a picture of him that morning. First picture I've had from him all year. So don't know where he came from. Never had him on camera. I got a picture of him about 5:30 that morning. I didn't hunt that morning. I was like, man, I've never seen this dude. And I'm going back looking through my pictures. Like, yeah, he's new. And it's right in the middle of the rut. All right. Deer chasing, they're moving. They're going to move to where the does are. And, first instinct would be like, sit that stand for the evening. And I was like, I'm not going to sit that stand. So I took my climber, and there's a white oak flat. Drowning Creek runs right through our lease. Mm-hmm. It separates Montgomery and Moore County. And huge white oaks in there. I was like, deer wasn't hitting the corn real hard. It's the rut.
Yeah.
All the does are singled out. They're either locked down or they're moving around. And I just happened to go down there walking around looking at it's a spot I've hunted before, and I seen all the acorns. And it's a natural funnel to a bedding area. I said, well, I'm gonna hunt that this evening. I'm not gonna hunt where the cameras are. So I just went in there totally blind and killed him just about 5 minutes before dark.
Right.
But never seen that deer before. Got one picture of him that morning, and he come down through that bottom.
So you got lucky.
Yeah,
But you were
absolutely
with
luck.
that 10%.
No,
You kind of knew where to set up.
I knew where to set up.
Why'd you go there? Because of the sign. You saw the acorns.
I saw 2 8s that I passed on. A young 6. Now I know I said we kill all 6s, but this dude's like a year and a half, maybe 2 years old.
Yeah.
And I saw him like 10 minutes after I got in a tree, so I wasn't going to shoot him.
Yeah.
And yeah, that dude come cruising through. And I seen him. He was coming straight on at me, and it was getting right there at last light, but it was still legal. I'm not outlaw anymore.
Yeah.
And I threw the binos up because he was through some holly trees, and I seen his head, and I was like, yeah, he's dying.
Yeah.
And then when I got to him, I said, that's a deer that was on camera this morning. So was it luck that he came through there? Yeah, absolutely. Was I hunting off of luck? No, because I knew the spot.
Right.
I went in there for a reason, because I had Drowning Creek on the west side of me. I had bedding area on the east and the south, and it was loaded.
What day? Saturday?
No, I think it was a Monday evening.
Oh, okay. Because I'm keeping up with the.
Yeah, I think it was a Monday evening. So I knew I was going to see deer.
Right.
I just needed to see the right deer.
Yeah.
And that's actually not the deer. Obviously, not the deer I wanted to see, because he just showed up that morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna say it's totally luck. Not the fact that I killed a deer, but the fact that I killed that deer.
Right.
It was totally luck.
Yeah. Are you doing anything? How are you? What's your thoughts on the whole scent control thing? Are you doing like the hardcore scent lock?
Nope.
Tote, seal.
I quit doing all that shit.
Yeah.
Man, I've done the ozonics. I've got ozonics. I do usually spray.
Just scent killer.
Yeah. So the ozonics works really good.
I haven't used it, but I believe
if you want to pay the money.
Yeah, but it's $300. $400,
I got mine. It was $400 or $500. I got them when they first came out.
Yeah.
And it works, but you got to get into the science of it. What does it do? There's nothing out there that'll eliminate your scent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Scientifically, they say a whitetail can distinguish between about 9 different scents at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I always, the way it was described to me, the way I learned it is like if I was cooking chili and you walked in my house, you would know that I was cooking chili because you smell it, right?
Right.
Like, it smells like chili. When a deer walks in, he smells that. He don't smell chili. He smells the garlic, the onion, the paprika, the cumin. Yeah. He smells it all independently.
Right.
And up to like 9 to 12 different smells. So you can have all the spray on, your human scent still in there.
Something's going to get out. So what the ozonics does, it spits out ions that attach to the molecules scent molecules that your body's giving off, and it encases them. So there is a science to the ozonics. If you're getting 100% of it, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's enough, and especially like during the rut. I mean, because sometimes the deer, especially Fort Bragg deer, they know what human scent is. They smell it all the time.
They smell it all the time.
But they're still weary of it. I've been winded this year.
Do you piss in bottles?
No, I piss right off the side of the tree.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. This year, I was going to say this year. So 3 years ago, I decided that I'm done killing everything, and I want to fucking be the king of Fort Bragg. I was tired of seeing Mike Skipper fucking win it. Get all the big deer.
You better go to the impact area.
Yeah,
that's reality.
Yeah,
I mean, there's deer dying in the middle of West Coleman that's never seen a man.
Yeah, but I'm talking. I got to do it on the up. I got to go in the air.
I
got to follow the laws. I am on camera, Chuck. But I was gonna go. So I went and got cameras, and that was a big help for people that I knew that were killing deer. I never really got into the cameras because it's a lot of work, hustling in and out of the woods, days off. You got to be in.
Yeah, I got one. I can't remember where I put it.
Yeah, now. And that was me and Randy kept losing them. There's probably a camera in a tree, like the old card ones. But then they banned cameras, so you can't use cameras. So I went into this whole scent control. I'm talking from the first day of hunting season to the last. I didn't even use soap that was scented. I used all scent free. My clothes were scent free. They stayed in a scent lock bag. I got changed outside the truck.
Yeah.
In the woods, I did all that for 3 years. This year, I haven't done a effing thing. I haven't even bought anything. No scents, no cover spray. I do have the acorn spray because I have it left over from last year, and I do use this stuff here. But this is mainly here. I'll give you one. You can use it because I know you're a cracker ass. Don't use lotion. That's my patented formula. It's actually anti-aging fucking lotion. There I am with the F word again.
I'm not aging.
But it is it's acorn scented, so it can act as a cover scent. It smells like the woods. But I haven't done any of that. I just played the wind, and I've had my most successful year.
Yeah,
I think the scent control thing.
Buddy of mine has hunted Fort Bragg for years and years religiously. He consistently kills trophy deer, mature deer, every year, and he doesn't do shit. He smokes cigarettes.
Wow.
Play the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play the wind,
and even that, even playing the wind, I've been busted because the deer. If you use a blind call, like you don't see the deer and you're going every 30 minutes you throw out a buck grunt. If the wind is crossing you or it's in your face or it's down, I like it to be kind of like I like to be where I can see downwind. So I like to add a cross because if he's over here, he's going to either circle or he's going to get downwind of you. So if the wind's in your face, which is what a lot of hunters do, they're like, oh, the wind's in my face. That way the deer's walking there. But if he hears that call, he's going to go behind you. And I've had him walk in right behind me. I didn't know they were there. And I just go like this and I hear him blow and run. So now I've kind of I like the wind at an angle. So at least out of my peripheral, I can see him creeping up. And being up on them hills where you smell like in the morning, don't the thermals pull down hills? Yeah. And then in the evening, they kind of lift up. Yeah. So playing all of those factors and smoking, I do put my cigarette butts, in a little plastic thing because I can't stand the smell of the cigarette butts. And I just pee off the side of the stand. I think Fort Bragg deer, if any deer in the world of Fort Bragg deer is used to the smell of human piss.
Yeah.
And Copenhagen spit, and all that stuff.
I don't think it affects the deer at all.
Yeah. Well, they've actually had studies for that urine and like shit. Like people are like, oh, don't shit in the woods. Every animal's going to know you're there. They're not that smart. You know what I mean? Something has to trigger that. If they have never smelled it before, they're going to be curious about it.
Right.
And the only time that they register it as, let's say that they smell your cologne. And they never smelled your cologne before, and they walk up on you and they see you and you scare the shit out of them. They'll then log that in their small brain that smell is danger, and they'll avoid it. That's the way it was. I've like the colleges that do the studies.
Yeah.
That's how their memory works. Like they don't smell nothing and like, oh, I know that's human scent. They've smelled it before, and anytime you hear that buck or that deer blow, that's not them warning you. They got the shit scared out of them, and that's all the oxygen leaving their lungs, like when you get frightened. Mm-hmm. So when that happens to them, they remember that smell with that feeling, and that's the way I understand it anyway.
Yeah, man, I've killed deer that smelled me.
Sometimes they don't care.
Sometimes they don't care.
Yeah.
I think a deer's biggest downfall is curiosity.
Yeah.
A lot of big deer are killed, and it goes back to this whole luck thing. A lot of big deer are killed by curiosity.
They just want to check it out. And that's why if you shoot a deer with your bow, Ken Island, Camo Ken, we had him on the podcast 2 years ago, I think. And he's the one that told me this initially, and I've done it ever since, and it works. When you shoot a deer with the bow and he starts running, as soon as you know that deer's hit, he's running, start yelling at him. Just start screaming at him.
He might stop.
He'll stop. Every time I've done it, they stop.
Yeah, it's like elk hunters.
They're just like, well, what the hell is that? Because they don't know what it is. They don't know what's going on.
As soon as somebody hits an elk, you start calling.
Yeah.
Try to stop them.
Yeah. Do that with your buck next time you shoot him with a bow. That way you want to say he only went 20? Yell at him because he will literally stop. I haven't shot enough deer with my bow since I got that advice to but I know with a gun they're going to drop. But I have make a bad shot in the gut that they could run 40, 50 yards, and that scares me because now I got to get down and chase them. Because if I'm sitting there like the deer I shot Saturday, he fell off of like a little ravine and fell down it, so he disappeared. So I didn't know if he got up and ran because I was gonna maybe wait it out and see what else showed up, at least another doe because I knew I was bucked out. Because last year I shot a deer 3 times. I shot at him 3 times. I know I hit him once because he dropped. and he laid there for about 5 minutes. Enough time for me to like take a leak, put a dip in. I was talking to Randy, tell him it was fucking probably scrub deer, I wasn't sure. And he got up and ran off.
Mm-hmm.
No.
They're pretty resilient, man. Man, I've double lung deer and they run 100 yards. I got a neighbor, he still lives there. He killed a deer. This is probably early 80s. He killed a deer in Bulls Island, South Carolina, an archery trip he went on every year. Me and his son graduated together, but he brought that deer home from Bulls Island, South Carolina. That deer had a broadhead and about 3 inches of shaft and a lung and formed scar tissue.
Yeah.
So that deer got lunged by a broadhead, and I'm talking old school broadheads. They're probably 135 grain, Rocky Mountain Razor or Thunderhead, whatever, Razorback 5, whatever was popular back then, with a wooden, about 3 inches of wooden shaft was in that deer's lung.
Yeah.
And he survived that.
And thrived.
Yeah, thrived. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the picture. Somebody seen with an arrow stuck in their head.
Yeah, they're resilient animals, man. They're tough.
Yeah.
They're really tough.
So let's what's relevant to today going into next week? Now, I have been breaking chops on the page about the rut being from the 25th to the 22nd, and if you missed it, too bad, the rut's over. You're not going to see any more deer. Of course, I'm joking, but
yeah, it's so. And again, I'm not a biologist, but I've been doing it a while. So a deer's going to come into estrus just like a human every 28 to 30 days until she's bred.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear a lot of old timers like, well, the second rut.
Yeah.
Well, it could be.
You can
it's
call it
rut, but
yeah, it's just
that's the does that didn't get bred the first time around when they came in, and it might carry on.
So that doe is going to keep going into an estrus cycle until she's bred.
Yeah, I do believe it'll stop after a certain period of time if she's not bred, but I mean she's going to get bred.
Because I have seen studies where they age the deer where the deer was conceived in like March and April.
Yeah, so
they don't, maybe that is the case. They just
literally had this conversation. I had a deer on camera during bow season, and if that deer was a month old, I'll kiss your ass.
Yeah.
Talking to a buddy of mine that's got a place right outside of Camp McCall, same thing. Like I could tell that fawn still had wobbly legs on camera,
So no, they've proven that they do breed throughout the year.
At some point that they will stop coming into estrus. And I got some buddies I can call and ask that's got deer pens. But that the old timers will tell you, it's the second rut. Yeah, well, okay. Well, there's going to be a third one.
Yeah,
and there's going to be a fourth one.
Right.
And I do believe that they'll breed into January, February.
Yeah, but the collection of does that are coming into that cycle just gets smaller and smaller as they get bred. But right now, I think the mature bucks right now are locked down. They already know who they're banging.
Yeah,
and they're not. I don't know. Just based on. I guess I can't base it on anything except my own gut feeling because I go from seeing deer and seeing some chasing, some rut activity to total silence. That normally indicates. And when I do see them, I'm driving by them on the road on the way out or on the way in, and they just look at the car. They don't even care. They don't run.
Yeah.
That normally indicates that they're locked down because they don't want to leave that doe. So I think this might be the last weekend of. I'm not saying it's the last weekend you can get lucky and kill a buck, and it's definitely not the last weekend that if you're a really good, experienced hunter and know how to target deer, that you can find them. But just the average guy who's hunting once a week, he's new to it. He's just going out to a spot and like deer should be here, and he climbs a tree and he gets lucky and sees one, or he don't. His chances are getting smaller and smaller. That's how I feel about it.
I like late season. When I hunted Midwest a lot. Had lease in Illinois for a few years. I love the late season. It's so easy to pattern a deer out there. Everybody talks about, man, they killed so many deer out there. Deer are a lot easier to pattern out there. Late season, Illinois, hunting food. They're going to be on the food. Yeah. I like the last week of October and late season because that deer has to replenish his protein and nutrients after the rut.
So going into the late season, you're looking even here. I think part of the reason what makes Bragg so different, like you familiar with the Midwest, and Mike Skipper, he's I don't know if you know him, but he's the guy. He's right now he's the guy who kills all the big deer. He kills nothing but mature deer. But he goes to Ohio, and he was like, up there, the deer just do what you think deer do, because there's not, it's all open. There's little patches of woods where the deer are going to bed up, but when they're going to get out and roam, they've got to leave these areas, and they got to chase does, and they get stupid, and it's a little bit easier than Fort Bragg, where seems like every grid square has a freaking draw, and there's plenty of food, and they really don't ever have to leave that draw until the late season. They kind of have to, but they really don't have to.
If you can kill a 130-inch deer in the southeast United States on public land, you've done something.
Right. Yeah.
That is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Midwest, like what your buddy said, you see it's first of all, it's much more wide open. Mm-hmm. You see what deer do.
Right. Yeah.
You see them chase. You don't see that here because you can only see 100 yards.
Exactly. And even if you do, that's what I was going to say. I've seen deer from like 100 yards, inside of 100 yards, and I'm not sure what size antlers he's got, because I can't see the antlers because they blend in with it, because I'm in the woods, and like, I'm up in a tree, but he's on the ground. There's pine straw on his feet. He blends in with that. Then he's walking through these 6 foot tall, oak trees that look this big from 20 feet up, but you get down on the ground and even the grass is 6 feet tall. So a lot of times I've seen them and I've shot deer and thought they were little, and you get down on them, you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize he had antlers, the size that he had. So it's a little bit harder. I don't know if just southeast or Fort Bragg in particular, that makes it. I think most of the people that I've spoken to that come from other areas and they hunt here, they say that Fort Bragg is just a little unique. It's a little different even than back home in, say, Alabama.
Yeah, it is.
Or New York.
Again, man, look at the food sources. Back in the heyday of Fort Bragg, when we're killing 2,000 deer a year, every food plot on Bragg was planted. And, it falls back. You've been in the Army. Everything's got to do with budget.
Yeah.
The wildlife program was managed by, it was actually managed by DPW back then, back then it was DEH. That's who they fell under. And they had a lot of money. They had a staff of biologists. Mike Honeycutt was the lead biologist. They had 5 game wardens.
I was going to say they had game
wardens at a time, and Mike had a staff of biologists. He probably had 3 or 4 biologists, and their sole purpose in life was deer herd.
Yeah.
You had forestry, handled mostly the woodpecker and all that dumb shit. Mm-hmm. But Mike Honeycutt's goal was to get a sustainable deer population and trophy deer. I remember my dad, probably 1979 or 80, I don't know. He killed a deer in GG. That deer weighed like 140 something pounds, probably a 5-year-old deer, but it was a cow horn. Mature deer. And then once we started taking the does off and getting that buck doe ratio, that's when you started to see more symmetrical antlers, less inbreeding. And
there was a while
you
here
saw that 95-inch
deer,
8-point,
Where?
You saw that 95-inch 8-point, and I was like, damn, that's a trophy deer, man.
Well, I know guys that like see the deer that we kill on Fort Bragg, and they live in the surrounding, like maybe more towards the coast where they do a lot of dog hunting, and they can't believe that's a Fort Bragg, like that's a North Carolina deer, because they've been hunting their whole life.
We gotta look at genetics too.
Yeah.
I mean, how much does genetics fall into it? And a lot of people don't know this, but probably 50% of your quality of antler genetics come from the doe. A lot of people don't realize that.
Jonathan Holloway brought that up on a podcast a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's facts.
They carry the gene. Yeah.
And being in Texas a lot, I got a lot of buddies with high fences, deer pens, and I asked that question one time. A guy, he's been doing it for years, and I asked him, I said, "How important is the genetics on the doe?" They're like, just as important as the buck. So they got a $30,000 breeder buck.
Yeah, but how can you can't really tell or is there a way to tell which
those
does
guys
you should not kill?
So I'm not an expert on it by any means. One of my best friends got a deer pen. It is so regulated and monitored by the state. I mean, these guys go to auctions, and it's like these deer got pedigrees.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's like buying bird dogs or horses, or it's the same thing.
That to me, though,
they know the genetics.
I gotta fall on the side of, is that hunting? I know
so for years I had this philosophy. I'll never shoot a high fence deer, and I've never shot a high fence deer.
I mean, if you pay for it, I'll go shoot it. I'll mount them on the wall. But
for like the guys that I know, for them, and these guys don't hunt these deer. They breed them. They sell the 2-year-olds, and I'm talking 180-inch 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And wherever that deer goes,
why are they doing it though?
That's where that deer. It's a business.
I know. But what's the end result of that business? People are going to pay a lot of money to go shoot that deer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know the guys that grow them are
170-inch deer. You could pay $10,000-$15,000 for 170, 180-inch deer.
Yeah. But some of those non-typicals that they're growing, they're like $30, $40.
Well, and see those guys that get into like Timber Ghost up in Iowa, man, you can go up there and shoot a 350-inch non-typical.
Yeah.
For $20,000. Those guys, it's more so for the breeders. I think it's a challenge. Mm-hmm. It's just like breeding any animal, whether it's horses, dogs, whatever you want. If you're breeding coonhounds, you want the best coonhound around.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing with these guys breeding these deer. But
because I know they let them shed. I know they let them shed their antlers, and then they put them on a plastic skull, and they take them to these shows, and they enter competitions. They're not really breeding them in a lot of these places for hunting, but then a lot of the high fence places are. And like I said, if you go and you kill a 200-inch buck on a high fence and you drag it in next to my 130-inch that I got on Fort Bragg, I'm going to think I'm cooler than you are.
Yeah.
I'm going to be jealous that you got that big old deer, but in my mind, I'm going to.
You got to look at it like this too. And I've been in high fences. I've sat in stands in high fences, and those deer are still deer. Are there high fences that hear the feeder go off, they're going to come?
Yeah, they get trained to go to the feeder.
But you got high fences in Texas that are 10,000 acres.
Damn, that's a lot of fence.
That's a lot of fence.
That's a lot of money.
Well, like I said,
that's a lot of money in just fencing.
It's a business. You're not going to walk into a 10,000 acre high fence and think you're going to walk out of there with a deer just because it's a high fence.
So what do you? Okay, but
you're still hunting.
Yeah, but I'm not paying $20,000 unless I shoot a deer, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm saying if I pay $10,000,
and you're paying for the badass lodge, the badass food. Yeah. You're in camp with other dudes. You're paying for the whole experience, and some people are into it, man.
I would do it. I just can't afford it.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, that.
I could do it, but then other hobbies like my motorcycles and everything else would take a back seat, and I would just have to do that.
Right.
And, I think I get more satisfaction out of it. I get more satisfaction out of the stress and frustration of Fort Bragg. I know a lot of people that are like, "Oh, deer season, I get the best sleep. It's my peace. It's my zen." I don't know what the hell you're hunting, boy, but deer hunting to me stresses me the hell out. Like I get stressed out.
Oh yeah.
And if I ain't got a mature buck by now, I'm a wreck. I'm like, I know there's still time, but there's something about the 25th of October to the 18th of November that's just burned into my brain.
Yeah, and that's I'd say probably with the pressure that Fort Bragg has, being public space. I mean, technically it is public. That's probably going to be your best bet.
Yeah. That's what's the easiest.
If I hunted Bragg, I would get up, second week in November. Every time I sat, I'd sit all day because they're chasing. They're looking for a doe to lock down. They're not going to be on the food. And just get up somewhere where there's deer, or get down from a doe bedding area and just sit all day.
Right.
After that,
I just don't.
Late season.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the late season? Still got to sit all day.
So probably second week of December on my lease, I'll start hunting food source.
Yeah.
And
so we got food plots this year. Last year there was no budget for it. But there are some food plots. But I've hunted the food plots like when I first started because it just makes sense. But I've never seen a deer on them. I see them at night or if I'm driving out, like going down McKellar's Road or whatever that road is that runs to the Delta compound. Lamont.
Yeah.
No, Lamont's the hardball. What's that fucking? There we go again. That might be 4 times. McKellar's Road. Yeah. There's duck fields. So if I'm driving out like 11 o'clock after sitting all morning, they'll be all out in that field. And as soon as you stop, they'll run. Like if you don't stop, they won't run. But as soon as you stop your car, they'll run. But
everybody sees them probably stop.
Yeah. So they know. It's like they know the wheel turning. It's like that's safe. But as soon as you hear it go, the brakes squeak, you're gonna hear a gunshot. So,
but back to your original thing, what people from the outside are saying about Fort Bragg deer. There was a couple years there, probably 5-10 years ago. I was telling everybody the state record's going to come out of Fort Bragg.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be a guy that slips into West Coleman or East Coleman.
Yeah,
but I guarantee you, there's 180-inch deer dying in those impact areas that never seen man.
Oh man,
I'd like to go in there with a dog, with a shed dog, and I've thought about it. But you got North Carolina starting to come up a little bit. You got some badass deer coming out of Anson County, Moore County.
Yeah.
I mean, they're killing 160s every year in Moore County.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then a 170 come out. Graham County. North Carolina's getting there, man.
I think Mike Skipper, I don't want to misspeak, but I think for 2 years there, at least, or 3 years, the deer he was killing, of course, he had cameras. Since the cameras have gone away, the size of his deer has gone down, but we're still talking like 130s. I'm talking, high 120s, 130s. But when he had his camera access, I believe he was killing as big as 160. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 150. I could have swear that his daddy got one last year that was like in the 170s. But everybody says I'm wrong about that. I think it was like a 164. But that's a big freaking deer for a public land deer.
That's a big deer for North Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the typical record for North Carolina? Like a 183?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know. But I know that I saw around, I won't say where, I'll just say around Fort Bragg there, I've seen some pictures of a deer, and this thing had to be high, mid 190s to 200. He might be around the Fort Bragg area. He might be more in another county, but I've seen him. Like, I'm not good at scoring deer. You know what I mean? If you asked me right now to score that, I'd be like, that's a 140, but it's probably like a 127 or a 130. But I've seen some big ones crossing the road. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that right there is about what I'm looking for every time.
Yeah. So that's why we said in the beginning, man. That's what you want.
I want the 200. I want the state record. That's what I want.
So I took my wife worked at range 37, and a guy I worked with her never killed a deer before, and so we took him to my lease, and they sat in a box blind, and I was like, look, I said, there's one deer I don't want you to shoot. I had this deer. I called him BT because he didn't have a tail, and talking to some buddies of mine, they said it's actually pretty common when they're fawns that the doe will chew their tail off. And so I called him Bobtail, so BT, and he was a 3-point, 1.5-year-old deer. And I mean, this dude, I could have probably got him where I could have hand fed him. Like, it got to where I could walk up on him 10, 20 yards, and before he would just like mosey on. Mm-hmm. So I put him in the stand. I was like, shoot whatever you want. I was like, don't shoot BT.
He shot BT.
I went down to the bottom. I heard him shoot, and I didn't have any service. So I pulled up on him, and I pulled up, and I was like, damn, like, you shot BT.
The one I told you not to shoot. Yeah.
But that dude had a European mount made, and that was like the highlight of that dude's life, man.
Yeah.
But it made it all worth it. Never killed a deer. Yeah. And I was like, you shoot any deer you want, except do not shoot BT.
Something about the first.
And he smoked him. And but man, the enthusiasm that guy had after that, it was worth it, man.
That's cool.
There's 100 more out there.
That's always cool when they're not your friends. If they're my friends, I'm like, fuck you. I hate your guts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I hate your guts. But if it's someone I don't know, certain people. One guy, Buddy Ard, he shot a nice deer in area. Well, I guess we're not supposed to. People get mad when we say that. In an archery only area, it was a nice deer, and and he shot it in a spot that I like to hunt. But I haven't hunted there in like 2 years, but I was happy for him. Genuinely. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't like, if Randy shot that deer, I'd be like, yeah, Randy's my boy. But I'd be like, I hate your guts because he's my friend. I don't know, it's weird. But I was happy for him. But yeah.
It goes back to that, whether you're new or maybe that's just what you're into, man. Because like I said, man, me and my boys back in the day, when we were right out of high school, man, we killed. I mean, it was criminal. I'm not proud of it now, but I mean, that's bragging rights. Yeah, I killed 20 fucking deer this year. How many did you kill?
Yeah.
But there's grown men doing it too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's still going on. I don't know anybody
still going on
that many, but I'm sure, and they know.
And that's with 5 game wardens on Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
But we knew all the game wardens.
Yeah. And
now we hunted with their kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what they got now. So we knew where game wardens parked their truck because they didn't let them take them home at night. You know, Ben Clifton parked his at the water treatment plant on Manchester Road. Fred Brown lived at the old game warden station on Manchester. You only had one game warden on duty at night during deer season. And all you got to do is say, hey, who's on duty tonight? Because he didn't leave his area. Yeah. So if Roger Fish was on duty, he was at Camp McCall because he lived out there.
Yeah.
You know, if it was Bobby Mears, he was in the north, you know, like around X and Holland area.
Yeah.
So we knew where those guys were. And
you can. I think from the people that I know, I don't know any outlaw hunters out there, and it's because they're smart. You know, they're outlaws. They're not bragging about it. Most of the people I know are pretty ethical about it. I know that deer leave Fort Bragg. I don't know. I have a very strong suspicion.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
You're never going to stop
at least, I don't know the percentage, but a good amount of deer never make it to the check-in station, you know, and I'm sure that there's guys that kill more than their limit.
Yeah. I mean, does Fort Bragg have a deer population where you think people are killing that many deer on post?
I don't know.
I mean, back then.
No. I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't. That's what I'm saying. It's not that rampant. I mean, I'm trying to downplay it. Like there might be a guy that kills a doe out in the NTA area, and it's like 80 pounds, and he lives right there.
Yeah,
and he's not driving. He's just
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not saying he's not tagging it on his North Carolina tags.
Right.
Bragg don't check that anymore. They did when I first started hunting, but now they're not a reporting agency no more. You have your permit, you give them your permit number, and then you check that, you tag that deer with North Carolina on your own.
So they don't do anything.
No.
So you used to, back in the day, if you killed a deer, you had to tag it, obviously with your tags.
Yeah.
And you had to take that deer to the check station.
You have to take it to the check station.
And they registered it.
They don't do that.
They pull the jawbone, pull the kidney.
Well, they still do all of that checking, but like the first time I ever shot a deer was a buck, and I brought it up there. Well, I had bought my hunting license that day, and I bought the hunting license. So we go up there, and I put the deer on the scale, and he's doing everything, and I give him my hunting license, and he wants to know where my tags are. Well, I didn't have no tags. I didn't know about tags. I just bought the hunting license because I can hunt. And the guy was nice. He let me go into the station, and you can do it online.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because I wouldn't be able to legally take possession of that deer. So I went in line, in there, and I paid for it and printed it out. But then like 2 years after that, killed a deer, brought it up there, and then showed them my tags, and it's ever since then. So I would say probably since 2016 anyway.
Well, and back then, we didn't have any internet. You couldn't call your tag in. So when you tagged a deer and took it to the Fort Bragg check station, it was an actual North Carolina State check-in.
Yeah.
So they registered it.
Well, maybe that's why they stopped doing it.
And they gave you a little white card that's got all your information on there.
Yeah.
And you kept that card.
Maybe that's why they stopped doing it, because now you can just call it. You got an app now. You just go on the app and do it.
Well, they had staff to do it back then too.
Yeah.
Like I said, if Fort Bragg was open for deer hunting, you had minimum 2 biologists in the skinning shed.
I don't know who they have.
I don't
know how many people they have now. I think 3, 4. They got volunteers.
Right.
I know that like Marty, he's the only, and there's another guy that volunteer. And I don't know if the guys that checking in. I really don't know. I've never really asked them, hey, like what's the skinny? Like who's in charge or who's actually working? Like not a volunteer.
Yeah.
I thought they were all volunteers. I've never seen a game warden out there. I know they're out there. I mean, I've one or at least one, but I've never seen one.
So what's I'm going to get some controversy going. What's the thoughts on CWD on Fort Bragg?
CWD, talking about chronic wasting disease?
Yeah.
We don't check for it no more.
Yeah.
It was mandatory for a while. I don't know. In my personal thoughts, I don't care about it.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real, but
maybe.
There's never been a recorded deer fatality due to CWD.
Yeah. I think it's money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's money that the state's going to get from the federal government for, grant money, research money,
checking
whatever.
A certain amount. Yeah.
CWD's been around for hundreds of years, and it's never going to go away.
Yeah. I just think all that stuff is stupid.
Yeah. I just see a lot of guys
having a hunting license is stupid. Now you're talking to the wrong guy about trying to get that. I'm like, I think that like hunting license, fishing license, that's a right that they took away from us and they sell it back to us. And then you've got to prance around like a good boy and prove what a good boy you are just to have that privilege, which is actually a right. That's the way I feel about it. I don't think there should be a hunting license. And I know that there's people out there that are like, well, then everything will disappear like the buffalo. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough people are hunting. I agree with having like rules to it. Like you can't kill, but 6 or 5. And I think you should be able to kill more bucks than 2. But I think that you shouldn't be able to shoot a buck that, like we were talking about before, like it has to be outside the ears, trying to guess that he's like 3 years old. I would be more inclined for that to be like a rule, but I don't like laws, period. So I don't really, laws to me are like suggestions. Most of the laws are common sense. Like, I'm not going to speed through this neighborhood.
Yeah.
There's kids playing.
Common sense isn't common anymore, though.
Yeah, I know. But for me, I
need
need everybody else to follow the law. It makes it easier for me to like maybe pick and choose which ones. Like, if Rayford Road is empty, I'm doing 80 miles an hour. Okay.
Right.
If I stop at the stoplight and there's nobody coming and it's red and I'm looking and I'm not waiting 5 minutes for that bitch to turn green. I'm going through it. I'm not doing that in the middle of the afternoon when there's traffic, obviously.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So the laws are, but you have some people out there just like, it's against the law, can't do it.
Yeah.
Don't matter what it is, don't matter how much sense it makes. It's like they're like whipped into shape.
Yeah. Well, man, it goes back to what I'd shoot 3 deer in an evening.
Yeah.
I literally have a picture in my house, and I did check statute of limitations before I came over here.
So you can't get them.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not something I'm proud of, but I mean, I don't give a shit if somebody don't like it.
Yeah.
I was 18. I've literally got a picture in East McRidge where I shot 3 does and they all fell on top of each other. Yeah. Like I've got that picture, and I mean that was a common occurrence, man. Yeah. But it's not.
I've heard that from other people.
It's not like we're smoking deer and leaving them lay. Like
that's different.
I bet every fucking deer that I've ever killed, or gave it to somebody that would eat it.
Yeah.
So it's not just. Yeah, it was about killing because that's all I wanted to do was kill shit, and it wasn't just deer, it was ducks. Yeah.
Coyotes.
Me and James Houston. I mean, we would go into West Coleman and come out with 50, 60 wood ducks.
Wow.
And I know there's going to be somebody like, oh, that's fucked up. I'm like, but yeah, you're the same dude that'll go to Mexico or Canada and where there is no limits.
Yeah.
So fuck off.
Yeah. I don't like those guys either. Although, I agree with limits. I'm not mad at a guy. Like, I hear the stories. Guys have told me like, yeah, I've killed 15 deer. I'm like, cool. As long as you're not, I don't like the guy that'll kill them. Like sometimes we find deer and the head's gone and the rest of the body.
Yeah, that's
if
bullshit.
You kill it, pull it out of the woods, do something.
And if you shoot it, look for it.
Yeah, look for it. Give it your best effort. Like there's some guys. Yeah. There were some guys Sunday.
They think a deer's going to fall down dead. You need to look for it.
Yeah. Sometimes sometimes like these guys, I don't know if they found what they were looking for because they were on the other side of the draw, but there was something jumping in the draw because I kept hearing it. Like they'd get closer, I'd hear their voices.
Yeah, they're pushing it.
And it was pushing it and pushing. I was waiting for it to come out, but it just kept getting deeper and deeper. And at some point, they just turned around and took off. Like they just would have walked 30 more yards. They probably would have jumped it again or found it dead.
Right.
I don't know, but yeah. But tracking's hard though, man.
It can be.
It's part of.
There's definitely an art to it, and one of my big things, man. I've had a lot of friends, like especially younger guys that some of my buddies' son or something like, hey, I just shot this big deer and I can't find any blood, and I'm like, back the fuck out and come back in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's 50 degrees. Like, so?
Yeah.
Who cares? That deer will be fine.
A lot of people don't realize they're protected.
Back out, come back in the daylight.
Yeah.
You probably gut shot it. You're gonna push that deer, and you're not gonna find him.
Yeah.
He's gonna clot up, and he's gonna die somewhere. You're just not gonna find him. So let him lay down. He's gonna run 100 yards. He's gonna lay down in some cover where he thinks he's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Don't push him. Back out and go back the next morning.
Yeah, that's hard to do though.
It is
especially
hard.
if he's a stud.
It is hard. It's a discipline thing. But how bad do you want that deer?
Yeah.
Especially if you're not experienced in tracking.
It's really not. I mean, I do know some guys that are very good at tracking where they really don't even need blood.
Yeah.
Like you get your initial blood, and sometimes you got a good blood trail, but then it comes off to a little drop and then disappears. I know a guy named Jimmy. He's like 60-something years old. He can track really good. Like he can look at the land. Like, okay, where's the deer most likely going to go? It's like, is there a road over there? A hard ball? Okay, let's just go over there because he crossed the road.
Yeah.
You can just tell he didn't lay down over here. But just following the blood drops, it's pretty easy. You know what I mean? Just take your time with it. But I like the idea of the dogs. I know we have some controversy on the page. I don't know how well you follow the page, but it seems like every week, I need a dog, and people calling the dog. And I think some people get annoyed with it. They use that as a way to talk shit. But I think having the dogs come out is actually kind of cool.
If you're going to put that much effort in, my thing is, if you care enough to call somebody to bring a dog out, good for you, man.
Yeah.
And if somebody gets mad about it, go lease your own land or go buy your own land.
I don't think they get mad. I just think in today's world, and you know this because we come from the same generation where we didn't have, like, we played outside and we didn't have video games and internet. Now, and I have to police this on the page all the time because there's sometimes people don't realize the Fort Bragg Hunt Club page is not a national page.
Right.
So you get on like the national page that's like deer score, and then you'll put your deer up there, and it's just you shouldn't have shot that deer. That deer needed 5 more years. You suck. And there's always just hating on somebody like, oh, if you don't know the answer to that question, you shouldn't even be hunting type of deal.
Yeah.
We don't allow that on the page here, but I just think that's a natural reaction is to see like, goddamn, I've hunted my whole life and I've never been around so many people that need to call dogs. Y'all must suck. But they've also probably never hunted a piece of property where 5,000 other people are a member of a page where like at any given time, there's 200-300 people that are hunting. You know what I mean? So like Garrett said last week, it's not like 5 guys on a lease. Now, if you were calling a dog twice a week on a 5-man lease, you guys probably suck. You know what I mean? You need to work on your archery skills, but in a place where there's like 500 people hunting, one guy calling a dog, those are pretty good odds. But it's a natural reaction just to talk junk.
And it goes back to experience. Some people just aren't experienced. They might be a new hunter.
Yeah, maybe it's part of it.
I know people have hunted years and never shot a deer before.
Yeah.
It happens, and like I said, deer resilient animals, man. You can double lung a deer, and he might run 200 yards. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You got these old timers like, oh, if you get this shot, he's not going to go nowhere. Bullshit. I've killed so many deer in my life, and I've lost a lot of deer. I lost a deer this year. I shot a 5.5-year-old 8-pointer at the beginning of the season, 300 Win Mag.
Damn.
Probably 55, 60 yards, broadside, and I did not find that deer. I think that deer's alive, but I looked for him for about 8 hours.
Went high.
I don't know.
No,
so first thing I did that was in the morning. That afternoon, I went over my buddy's over off Elliott Bridge Road. He's got a lease off Elliott Bridge Road. I said, hey, I need to come over. I need to shoot my rifle. So I shot it at 75 yards. Deer was probably at about 60. Dead on. I'm shooting a box blind, supported. Deer's broadside in a road. He was walking, and I could not figure out what happened. So another buddy of mine, we've been talking the whole 300 Win Mag deal.
How high off the ground? Were you on the ground?
I was on the ground. Oh, yeah. Okay. The only thing I can think is I hit him high and back because he was walking.
Like in the meat?
The shot was kind of rushed, but like I said, I've killed a lot of fucking deer,
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't find any blood. And I was like, well, this ain't right. And so I went to an old road, and I was walking down this old road, and I found a spot of blood about the size of my little fingernail. I was like, So I started following it, and I followed blood probably for and it was real sporadic. And I was like, this deer's alive. And I jumped a deer. Don't know if it was him or not. Never found any blood. I went to Drowning Creek, went half a mile or probably quarter mile downstream, quarter mile upstream. I was like, well, if he's gut shot, he's going to go to the water. Nothing. So after about 8 hours, I just pulled out, went up Ramsey Street or Elliott Bridge Road, shot that rifle. It was dead on. I'm like, So, I mean, it happens.
Yeah. No. It's unfortunately that's just same thing with
happens.
a bow. You're gonna wound them. I shot a deer on the first opening day. I shot a doe, and I'd never really until after this. Now I stop the deer if I want to shoot them. I'll make a noise because I never did it before. And this was about 35-yard shot on my side, and it's like she was standing still because she was eating, like she had her head on the ground. But as soon as I made the decision to go ahead and I released the arrow, in that time, she took 2 steps forward. Like she started eating. So the arrow hit her high and in the rear. Now I hit her high because I forget to dip down. Sometimes I just forget the fundamentals. Like you got to aim lower to get a good.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that. So I hit her high, and then she stepped forward, and she didn't even act like she got hit. Like she jumped a little bit, and then she scampered off. And there was a blood trail, but the blood trail went about, 30 yards and then just stopped. So I looked, I probably spent an hour, but there was and it was wide open.
Yeah.
It's not like you could follow the game trail. She went up from the draw, it was in area AA1. So, there's parts of that where you come out of the draw, and then there's all pine trees and grass. Yeah. And I was like, screw it. She's still alive. I hope she didn't suffer too much, but it's part of it, man. And, it's just, even experienced bow hunters are going to do it. Even with a gun, you just get a bad shot.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you shoot enough deer, it's going to happen. But yeah, there's always people going to be out there like, oh, well, you suck. Like, okay.
Yeah. That's because it's easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I suck. And but the whole dog thing, man, if you're not comfortable tracking that deer and you call a dog, good for you. At least you didn't turn around and leave.
Yeah.
Or thermal drone, that's getting real popular.
I don't know if you can do that on Fort Bragg because of the, it's a federal installation. I don't even know if you can. You're not even supposed to
probably
fly a
not.
drone out there. You have to jump through so much red tape to get it okay out there, and you'd have to charge $500.
Yeah,
and ain't no deer worth $500.
So what's the deal with trail cams on Bragg?
They just outlawed them.
No reason.
Well. There could be a reason.
I know some people said some OPSEC shit. I'm like, that's bullshit.
No, I think what had happened probably was not on Fort Bragg, but another installation. There was a camera found in an area where they were training.
Yeah.
And the guy who found it made us think about it. Like, we're out here. I don't know if this is the Russians or the Chinese, spying on us, just probably some officer. Yeah. But yeah, and I think it just went statewide or countrywide or, however you want to, installation wide, which I can understand, because when I found out that, technically you're not supposed to take any pictures on Fort Bragg without PMO approval.
Right. Yeah.
So that means you have to turn your dash cam off when you come through the gate. Does everybody turn their dash cam off?
No.
Fuck no. You're not supposed to have your phone out recording at all on Fort Bragg. I mean, if you really go by the law and the rule. So even we break the law every day by taking pictures of ourselves in the, tree selfies, or I'm taking a video of that deer walking. Technically, I think I'm breaking the law. I think it's just one of those you can beat your wife on Sunday laws. It's there, but they don't really enforce it. But the camera, I think somebody made us think about it, because there could be some secret squirrel stuff going on, especially in Fort Bragg.
It's funny. I know before we got on, we were talking about the unit, and was talking about Walt Shoemate. So back in the 80s, after he retired, Walt Shoemate was the safety officer for the unit. That was before the compound spread across into K and all that.
Well, it used to be on Butner Road.
Well, yeah, the old stockade.
Yeah, the old stockade.
After they moved out and they took half of Manchester danger area.
Yeah.
Because Manchester was open twice a year, Thanksgiving weekend and Christmas weekend, and that was one of the things where you put your cotton line a fucking day and a half early,
right,
so you can get into Manchester danger area.
Mm-hmm.
It's open 2 weekends a year. Well, Walt Shoemate was a safety officer at the unit, right? So even though they had the fence up, there was still a buffer zone. You couldn't get within so far of that fence, but everybody's talking about the damn deer in Manchester on that end down there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called Walt and Alan and got the guard rotation. So I knew when the guard rotation, the intervals in between the roving guard, and I'd get in a climber and an old Baker, climb up, sit, like, okay, they're fixing to come around. I'd scoot around the back side of the tree, they'd go back, and I'd spin back around. And but yeah,
I think we might still do something similar to that to this day, because we hunt, a lot of us, you can't hunt right up against the fence on the Delta compound. It's expanded now, but it's like basically in that area over there. But I think there might be a little section that's questionable. Like if you really zoom it in, it becomes a pink area. The red line is the danger area, and it's redded out. But if you really zoom in on some of these places, like I don't know, it's right on the line. It's like a pink area, but so if you hunt that area when that roving patrol comes around, you want to.
Man, area K. We used to take some good deer out of Area K.
Still do.
My dad.
It's hard to hunt though because we talk about it.
Yeah.
And this is what a lot of guys don't like about what we're doing right now. You don't hunt on Fort Bragg anymore, so it probably doesn't affect you. But there's a lot of guys who've been hunting Fort Bragg every year, and then as soon as the internet started getting big and the Facebook page, there's still members on the page, but there's guys out there that hate my guts.
Right.
Like they fucking hate me because they think that I am maybe that they're not giving me so much credit that I'm responsible, but I'm contributing to the fact that Fort Bragg is now becoming populated and people want to hunt there, and we're bringing awareness to Fort Bragg because their little honey hole that they love so much that they've been hunting since they were 12. Now they have to like sign in early.
There's no honey holes on Fort Bragg.
I know. I'm just saying, how guys are. It's like I have a spot that I've been hunting and I take good deer out of every year. I call it my spot. Does that mean it's my spot? Yeah. No, but I call it my spot. Like, oh yeah, I have a spot in R. I have a spot in S. K, I got a spot in K. It's not my spot, but now when the time that I want to go there, if you're there, I'm like, who the hell's in my spot? It's just a natural thing. Not like I'm claiming ownership, but there's some guys that are real salty about it. Like, because what they do is they run into other guys, while they're waiting to go in or they're cleaning a deer, and they'll be like, hey, that Dago Feeney? Yeah, he's fucking asshole. I don't like him. But then the guy that he's talking to is a friend of mine. So he's like, oh man, I like him. He's cool. And the guy starts changing, like, oh, well, he thinks everything's a joke. And, like my humor doesn't transpire to everybody, but, fuck them.
Yeah.
If you can't take a joke, fuck you.
But you think you're going to have an isolated spot on Bragg? You're delusional.
Well, I tell you, I've never, ever, I say this, let me think. I've never ran into anybody on Fort Bragg. Like, I've never been in an area hunting and then some guy come in. Like this year I was hunting. It's the first time it really ever happened. The guy, I watched him. I was hunting like close to the road where, this fire break, and he pulled in and I watched him for like 30 minutes. He got off work. He took his sweet ass time. He's not on the page because I think I put out like, hey man, text me if you're, setting up. But he took his sweet time and got all dressed. I could hear him putting his spray on, and he started walking down and he saw me and he had to turn around and he walked out. But that's the first time that's ever happened to me, man. Yeah, I've never had an issue that I can think of except for that one. I hear people talk about it all the time.
Yeah. I see a lot of people talking about, they're always posting about vehicles, man. I can probably count on both hands back in the day where I personally know guys that would just ride the fire breaks and just smoke deer every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
They don't, but it's hard. You got to understand, if you, like when I first started hunting here on Fort Bragg, it drove me crazy. I'm sitting here for 3, and of course I was getting in the stand at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
or getting in at 3 o'clock in the morning, because there was a time that I did not know that you had to wait to a certain time to go into the woods.
Right.
I just didn't know. I mean, I wasn't like
Yeah.
being an outlaw, because what are you killing at 3 o'clock in the morning? I just thought I had to be there, and but then I would be sitting there, and a car would drive down the fire break, and I think my hunt was over, because where I was hunting in Alabama, it was all quiet. No one,
Yeah.
during hunting hours, you didn't
Mhm.
drive past you didn't take your golf cart or your four-wheeler past a certain point. And then like people walking or noise and all. It takes a while for you to kind of learn that that's normal on Fort Bragg, and that's not going to
It's
hurt
never
anything.
going away.
It's never going to go away.
Yeah.
It does get annoying when you're hunting and there's a guy on a dirt bike and he's just ran, because that is going to, a deer's not going to come by if there's a guy that's going up the fire break and down. They're going to avoid that area.
Yeah.
Plus, who wants to hear that damn two-stroke humming for,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It gets annoying. So that I understand, but that's always been a thing.
Yeah, I don't think
I used to ride dirt bikes out there when I was a kid.
Man, I used to hunt Area H religiously. And the EIB site's been there forever.
Yeah.
And I can remember killing deer with a bow and being able to hear guys talk at the stations.
Yeah.
That's how close.
JHK, those deer, I mean, there's always like, then we used to ruck march every Wednesday.
I mean, look,
and we'd go through Area J.
Anybody that's been in divisions been all over Area J.
Yeah.
When the DYA used to do their youth hunts, dependent youth activities, they would do deer hunts, and they'd do it in H and J.
Yeah.
And me and my dad signed up every year, all the way until I turned 18, and they wouldn't let me do it no more. And we would kill the shit out of deer in J.
Yeah.
And I mean, Area J
holds some big deer.
Truth's been going through Area J, running PT and
every day
for 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
They've been doing that.
H2.
And H2.
H as well is what I mean.
Yeah.
Not H, Area 8, because there is a HH2.
Yeah.
But those areas inside the fence.
And even K, a good friend of mine, man, one of the best spots in K was right behind range control. And
you know how many people you just pissed off, son?
I don't give a shit. I didn't come here to make friends.
Yeah.
And it probably still is.
It still is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Area K. I can tell you where I think the best spot is. You know who BT is? Toller, Bennett Toller. He's been okay.
Yeah.
He's like he's like our local legend, because he only bow hunts. He says it. He don't hide it. You can see his damn truck. He hunts Area K, and he kills mature deer just about every year.
Mm-hmm.
Has a hard time finding them here lately. But he's like our legend, our hero guy. You know what I'm saying? Because he just, when you go to the skin shed with your little 4-pointer and you don't know anybody on Fort Bragg, and here comes BT with a damn, 130, 140 that he shot with a bow. I can tell you exactly where he hunts and where, all these different spots are. That don't mean that you're going to ruck in there and kill a damn deer.
No.
Because the wind still plays a role, the time of year, the time of day. You know what I'm saying? It's like all these, you may go in there and just screw, and I think that's what most guys are scared of, is I'm not worried. First of all, I don't want you to get lucky and kill my deer, obviously, but I don't want you screwing up my area.
Yeah.
With your scent and your, like cutting trees down and messing it up.
Yeah, my dad killed, matter of fact, he won the big buck contest. I think it was 1989. And again, it was probably a 105-inch 11-pointer, but he killed that deer. He was literally sitting on the ground with his back against the fence on the forestry office. I don't know if the forestry office is still there.
You talk,
up in K, off for the Long Street gate.
Yeah,
he was sitting in a lawn chair with his back against the fence.
Yeah,
and his truck parked from here to my truck in your driveway.
Still a good
and
spot.
Shot that deer at 25 yards.
Hey, I didn't say it. Don't get mad at me.
There's a lot of spots like that at Bragg.
But here's the thing: every area, I think there are some areas that are going to hold more doe. Like it has like those, like Area QQ holds a lot of doe because of that. It's all bedding area,
right?
Every area in Bragg is going to hold deer. Okay, maybe not every year. Like you got, we said last. I put a post out last week because I catch a lot of texts, being the admin on the page, and so does Randy. And then, a lot of guys that, like Buddy just said, thank you, Buddy. Thank you for the backup. I'm reading the comments. I'm like the face that a lot of people first meet,
Right.
when they hunt, because I'm on the page. If you go into an area, it's got a draw, which every area does, and you hunt for the sign first. Forget about the deer. Hunt for this. Like me and Randy did this Sunday. We went to an area that we've never been before. Like we've never been there. I'll even say the area. It was CC too, because I can't hunt in a buck only area because I'm bucked out. So I had to hunt. I have to hunt either sex, or I got to go into an area that's not open for buck. Hey, look, there's a deep draw over there. It looks good. Let's walk down this side. Nope, nothing here. Let's walk down the other side. Finally, we found a draw. Oh, there's scrapes. Old scrapes. They ain't been hit. There was one that had some, you start seeing tracks. You got bedding. Where are they going? Which way's the wind? So you put all those things in, into account, and that's where you're going to find deer. You can do that in every area. I don't know that I can't say with certainty that any area, except the impact areas for obvious reasons, but any area is going to hold bigger deer.
Right.
I think they're everywhere because I see them come in. Where you kill that?
For sure.
A lot of guys will tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I killed this out here.
And I think when I say the impact area is probably holding larger deer, it's because there's no pressure.
Right.
There's probably more food source as far as hard mass because they don't control burn in the impact area. Yeah, you got some white phosphorus rounds that start fires and ordnance that starts fires, but you got more hard mass in the areas, and there's just no pressure. But
they leave those areas too, though. So I mean, you can catch them, especially around area HH 1 and 2.
I think they'll leave them during the rut.
During rut,
they'll hit the fringe areas.
Yeah. Maybe not that bad. There's probably a 180 in there that's not leaving because he only has like a 1 mile radius.
Those mature deer. I just seen a thing with Lee Lukoski in the last couple of weeks talking about at what point does a mature deer not worry about the rut, and it makes all the sense in the world. Now granted, he's got 10,000 acres. It's strictly managed. Mm-hmm. He doesn't pay for the shit that he plants. He doesn't pay for the equipment, so he's got everything sponsored. But and I've talked personally with him and Tiffany, and they're shooting 7-year-old deer. They won't shoot a 5 or 6-year-old unless he's just really, really big. But what they're seeing is these mature deer they're not worried about breeding no more. They're worried about staying healthy and surviving.
So where they get to the point where they're bred enough, and
and it makes all the sense.
Kind of like a man in his 40s and 50s. Like,
not saying he's going to turn it down.
Yeah.
You got your 2, 3, and 4-year-olds out there just hammering everything.
Yeah.
And a truly mature 6, 7-year-old deer, he might be 180 inches, but why does he want to get in a fight with that 140-inch deer that's stronger, younger, faster? Yeah. So he's going to isolate himself. And back to what me and my buddy in Texas were talking about, they're letting their deer go 5 years. They're letting the kids shoot some 4-year-olds. And these dudes are like straight up gangsters. Like, their kids are 10, 11 years old, 9 years old. Like, no, you're not shooting that 3-year-old 8-point.
Right.
You're going to shoot a mature deer.
Yeah.
But what we were talking about is the deer, as they're transitioning into that 6, 7-year-old time frame, they're disappearing, and some guy will see them 5, 6 miles down the road. So I think there's absolutely deer in the impact area with situations like that they got water, they got food, they don't need to roam.
Right.
They're not saying they won't because they do. They change their patterns,
But I mean, the impact areas are pretty big, so
big.
He might roam, but he doesn't really have to roam outside.
He don't have to leave
because I know as they get older, their range gets smaller.
Yeah,
because like you said, they go into
survivability
mode. Yeah,
and that's the perfect place for them to thrive and die of old age or predator. Whatever weather.
But I don't know. I think it might have been Jonathan Holloway. I think he made a good point. I don't know if he was speaking matter-of-factly or just hypothetically. Like, they don't trap coyotes in there, so maybe the population may not be that good in there if there's not trapping coyotes. But I don't know. Coyotes are a little smarter. Like, they're dogs, so dogs will. You can train a dog. You can't train a deer.
Right.
Like you can train a dog to sit, stay, smell drugs. So like a dog would actually learn, like if I stay on this side of the road, like my dog knows, I don't even put her on a leash. She won't go outside the yard. Deer ain't going to do that. So I don't know if you're not trapping coyotes in there, and the coyotes are like, well, fuck, we don't got to leave either. We got deer. We got everything.
Does anybody push to reopen the impact areas?
We don't. We are not, and I get this a lot. I get a lot of official type questions. I don't know how to answer that question because I'm not affiliated with Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
I'm not affiliated with wildlife.
Right.
I don't have meetings with them. This was just a fluke.
Has anybody ever brought it up to wildlife though? I mean, I know what the answer is going to be.
I'm sure somebody has, but I don't know who the people are that would even bring that up. I mean, I could send an email and say, hey, what I could find out, I guess.
Yeah.
If I think, Alan, I forgot his last name. Sorry, Alan, if you even watched this. Some German last name, I think. But if I asked him, he might tell me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, ultimately, I think the decision maker would come down to range control and garrison commander.
Well, range control guys are dicks.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I just be straight out. The range control.
I don't know who in charge of range control. It was Wolf Amaker last.
Yeah. Well,
last I have, but
it's almost like, I don't know. Every range control guy I've ever ran into was over something stupid. Like, I was hunting area Z1. They took that away from us, but Z1, right?
Really?
Right. Yeah. Well, you haven't heard then. So imagine this is you're familiar with Fort Bragg. So you've got area L, M in this area here, and then all the way out here you've got A to A1. All this whole interior area is going away in the next 4 years now.
Really?
So everything from Lamont to King Road
in the
middle, that's all going range control. Now, will they let us hunt it like they did back in the day? They used to let us into the impact areas and the training areas. I don't know, but we do know, and I say it's been confirmed. I haven't sat down with any congressional people and been in a hearing. I've just heard it from the people that work there that this was all going away. So we were going to have, like, what happens when
basically everything north of Chicken or north of Long Street, south of Manchester.
No, I'm sorry, not Long Street. Chicken Road Gate.
Yep.
When you go out there, everything on the left, as you go from Chicken to Chicken to Plank, to King, Manchester, and back to Lamont. So, because that area is already closed off, like that area, you can't make a left on Lamont no more from Long Street. So all that middle area is gone. So you'll have all the outskirts. So you'll be able to hunt like what's on I-4.
Yeah.
CC,
south of Plank Road.
Yeah, all of that.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if, like I said, we don't know if they're going to let us hunt that. It's just going to be taken away from wildlife, and it's going to be under range control.
Yeah.
And only range control guys I've ever met was when I was in the Army, and they were dicks when you had to pick up the fucking brass or hunting, and they're like, you can't park here. Like, literally, I was parked on the aerial gun range side of the road, and Z1's on the other side, and he came up and said, you can't park here. This is range. Wildlife's over there. And I was like, dude, I'm on the side of the fucking road. He was like, this is range. I was like, yeah, I got that. I understand that this is the range, but I'm just pulled over on the side of the road. And then finally, I just was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And then he just walked off. There's a little like tool shed over there with equipment. I wouldn't. I kind of wish I needed a reason to be there because I probably would have sat there longer just to be a dick. But he wasn't nice about it. All he had to do was say, hey, bud, do me a favor. Can you go over? I would have been like, oh shit, my bad, boss. But they're dicks.
Yeah, they're all.
They used to deal with soldiers like
grumpy retirees.
Retired first sergeants.
And I got it. Number one priority is training troops. That always needs to be number one.
Yeah, but I think that, do they really need to train between October and Christmas?
I mean,
you got.
Probably depends on who you ask.
You got Thanksgiving. Look, they shut down Bragg now. Like this is it used to be like a 4-day weekend.
Right.
The Bragg kids are out of school all week. I know guys that have already take their leave. They're already at home. So it's not like it used to be. And then you got Christmas. You got to give them. A lot of people ain't from here, so they want to go back home. Seems like they're bending to that more. They could probably shut down training a little bit for the deer hunting.
Yeah. I don't know.
But no, you're right. Obviously.
I don't know. Fort Bragg's weird about the hunting. Compared to other installations, And I'm only got experience with Fort Campbell and Fort Benning. But Fort Campbell, they lease out agriculture on post. So you got soybeans, you got corn on post.
Yeah,
it's leased out to the farmers.
Yeah.
They got a great wildlife program. Fort Benning's got good deer, and
I heard Fort Benning has an excellent deer program too.
Yeah,
like it's
simple.
But
common
see,
sense.
not every base. Like I know this, like Fort Hood and some other bases, MWR controls the hunting.
Yeah.
Here in Fort Bragg, MWR does not. Wildlife is like its own entity.
Yeah.
MWR has nothing to do with it. They don't have, which is kind of a bad thing with what's going on in Fort Hood, because what happens when MWR, they don't hire, like they put contracts out. So the company that gets the contract for that MWR, who do they hire? Right. Well, you've got an environmental degree. You're from Massachusetts, some liberal, blue-haired, but you will qualify for the job. So now you got it. Now they got stupid laws like.
And Benning, hunting's regulated on Benning by MWR. Well, they manage the program. So man, Bragg's is kind of weird.
I don't know who's in charge of
range control. Controls the area. Obviously, the range, the training, they dictate what areas can be open for hunting and what can't.
Yeah.
On what training's going on.
But sometimes they'll be closed, and I'll hunt the area right next to it.
There ain't nothing going on.
And I got to go through the area that I wanted to hunt that's closed, and there's not a soul in there.
Well, you know how it is back in the day, man. You put in a request for a training area, you might not even go in there.
Yeah. Well, you say that you were like a platoon sergeant. I was an E4. I don't really know. I mean, I just do what y'all motherfuckers said do.
You can block off 3 areas and just use one.
Right.
But you have the option to use the other one there. And I'm sure it's still the same way.
Well, and that's probably why you can still bow hunt. Like on the days, like the guys that only bow hunt, they don't have any issue. They can hunt any area, anytime. Yeah. They have to abide by the buck only. If it's open for rifle and it's buck only, and you're a bow hunt, you still can only kill a buck. But if your area is not open, that's why I started bow hunting, because I like this one spot, and so I was like, well, screw it. If it's open, if it's closed for rifle, I'll just go in with my bow. And I think I was a crossbow. This was years ago. But. Yeah. Okay. Well, man, we've been going for about an hour and a half. We got any questions out there? I don't see Buddy R's new hoodie idea flannel. If you have any questions, post them up. I'll ask them. I think I have a question. I think I covered everything. We covered scent control. We covered the time of year. You're a late season guy.
I like late season, man.
If you're going to go hunt Fort Bragg right now, no, screw that. I'm a new hunter. I'm new to Fort Bragg. I have not killed a deer yet. I'm getting frustrated. You know Fort Bragg. You know Moore County. You know the season here. What should my strategy be? What am I looking for? Going out. Let's say you put me in area. What's an area you're familiar with? So food source. Even right now, food source.
Yeah. End of the day, all deer's got to eat. Your does are always going to come back to your food source through it, no matter what period they're in the rut.
So you're not looking for sign. You don't care about scrapes.
No, absolutely. Okay. Your scrapes are going to play out. Yeah, you might have. I'm not a big scrape rub kind of guy. You put a camera on a scrape, and you're going to get 30 different deer on it. I mean, it's a communication portal.
Yeah.
And rubs, man.
If you can't just hunt one scrape, you got to find the scrape, and then you got to find the tracks. I wouldn't say just find a scrape and set up on it, but if you can find a scrape, normally if you find the direction, you're going to find another one. And you're going to find a rub, and now you're going to know that you're on like a main, I call them highways.
Yeah.
Because there's a million trails, but all the deer are kind of using the trail to get between them scrapes. Like if a buck runs up on this scrape and he smells a doe has peed in it, he's going to follow the trail because she's peed on her legs,
Right.
So he's going to follow to the next scrape, So finding that highway, I find success with that.
Yeah. Scout, get out, learn the woods. If you're brand new, find people, make friends, ask questions.
Yeah.
Some people are scared. Figure it out on your own. ask questions. Well,
No, go ahead.
the internet's a crazy world because you always got these assholes. That
I do a good job. I think
that's a dumb question. Is any question really dumb?
No.
Now, if it's somebody I know, I might hammer them.
Yeah.
Just because I'm an asshole.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I tell you all the time. If you see me generally talking shit to somebody, I know that guy. He's a friend of mine. I'm not. If I don't know you, I'm not going to go on there and hammer you.
Anybody that don't want to help out a new hunter or somebody that's trying to get into hunting, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
An asshole.
Yeah.
Well, it baffles me sometimes that I see it. Like I had an issue this week. I made a post about how I would set up for the rut.
Yeah.
Okay. And and it's nothing I made up. It was taught to me by another experienced hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's worked. But in the beginning of the post, I said, on the internet now, you can't say anything without that one asshole basically saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," But I'm going to say it anyway. And there was one guy. His first comment was, "Another fucking wannabe," and I thought he was playing into that joke, but he was actually being serious. He was being serious. I'm like, dude, like, are you even from here? Like, you're talking. You're talking. Like, would you say that to my face in person? That's the type what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Because I doubt you would, Billy Bob, if you're watching this, whatever your name was.
Yeah.
But
I think the biggest thing is get out and scout, learn the areas.
That's the biggest thing.
Small game hunt. Get out there and look around.
Oh, work for Buddy.
Go out there and do some damn
chasing
PT
squirrels,
or whatever. Get out there and scout. Late season, January.
I think a lot of people don't.
You're not gonna learn it in a year.
I think a lot of people don't take that to heart. Scouting is not a 10-minute thing. It's like it's years. Yeah. It's you have to walk your area. If you're gonna hunt the same area, when you get done, walk around it. Look for the figure out what a scrape is. If you're not sure, like one guy sent me a picture of a rub. It was like termite tree. I'm like, no, that's termites. That's not a rub or scrapes.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, look at all these scrapes. There's 20 scrapes in this little area. I'm like, yeah, those turkeys scratching away that pine straw, dude. That's how you learn the shit. Ask questions.
And you got the power of the internet now. I mean, there's so much information. There's a lot of good people out there hunting shows. I'll tell you somebody that's spot on. If you're one of these moon phase guys, and
I am. I
don't even want to get into the conversation of moon phase, but it does play a part. I honestly believe that. Get the DeerCast app, and the Drury's have it down to a science.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've achieved that by 40 years of owning your own property and just watching deer, free range deer.
Yeah.
But there is a science to it, and they have got it down to the science.
I don't know what it is, but what makes sense to me is light. Okay? The deer will move more cautiously in visible light. So if the moon is full, they will move less at night. All right? So if you have a full moon at night, I think they move less. So that means when the sun comes up, like when the sun's set, when the sun's setting and when the sun's coming up, I think you're going to see more movement during those times, and you're going to see the midday. I don't know. I have success with not trying to understand it, just following the instructions of the red moon phase.
Yeah. So you got the old timers at death said like, oh, it's a full moon, you don't need to hunt, or hunt in the middle of the day, 10 to 2.
Because they're not moving as much.
And I've got a buddy that James Houston, some of these guys might know him. I mean, we will almost fist fight over this fucking moon thing. And because my thing is, if a deer wants to get up and eat, he's going to get up and eat. It don't matter what the moon phase is. It don't matter if it's raining. Biggest deer I've killed in my life, it was 91 degrees in Kansas.
Yeah.
So don't tell me it's got to be 30 degrees to kill a deer, because that's bullshit. Do deer get more active in the cold weather?
Yeah,
it's just like any animal, because he's got to intake protein.
Because he's got no fat, hardly.
He's got to move. So he's going to be more active. I'm big on.
Does it make him more horny? No. Does it make him like, oh, I got to go like run crazy? No.
I had this argument the other day. The same dude, James Houston. Brian Rice knows him well. He's like, yeah, that moon's got the rut. I'm like, no, you're dumb. Moon has absolutely nothing to do with the rut. It's photoperiodism and genetics. And I will stand on that all day long.
Yeah, but the photo, what the word you just used, doesn't that
photoperiodism?
Doesn't that play in with the moon as far as the light of the day? Maybe it's the sun and the moon combined.
A little bit it does, and it's all plants and animals.
So you're saying with this, let me say, what does that say? Jesus 6615. Temp's going to drop this weekend. How's that going to play on the deer?
They're going to be more active.
They're going to be more active.
They're going to have to move. So we're coming on the backside of a front right now. It's supposed to rain tonight. It's 70 degrees now.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning is going to be hot. I think I'm going to be in a stand tomorrow morning. Thursday morning I won't be because it's Thanksgiving. Well, yeah, actually I will be.
Cold, right?
I got a place on Ramsey Street that I hunt. So I will be in a stand. But as far as, the rut's going to start this weekend because it's going to be 20 degrees. Like,
no. Yeah.
Are the deer going to be more active? Yeah, because they got to get up and move. It's just like a duck. You're not going to see flocks on a 90 degree day, shitty weather, cold weather, because the animals got to get up and move.
Yeah. So I just had a question pop into my head. Damn it. Rain. Do you hunt in the rain?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I've never seen a deer in the rain.
Well, I got pictures right now. I got 40 acres in Wilkesboro.
I know. I've heard all
rained up there all day.
It was in the rain.
Rained up there all day, and I got pictures of deer all day long.
Yeah,
but temperature's dropping. It's raining, and they got to eat.
Yeah. Do you think they know when the pressure's dropping, like
absolutely.
The front's coming? Like
I'm big on barometric pressure. Yeah. I'm not real big on hunting the front side of a front, but the back side. Once the pressure's dropped and once it starts going up, I wholeheartedly believe
What's the best day between now and Sunday if you had to
Thursday morning?
Thursday morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
heard that? Thursday morning.
And that's
Thursday morning. I'm going to be in a stand for sure.
Barometer is rising and the temps are going to drop drastically.
Yeah.
But we still got does coming in. If I had the time Thursday morning, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'd sit all day long.
Yeah.
Get a spot where you can see a long ways. And just sit and hope you catch one.
I'm hunting all them days, but I don't do the all day sits no more.
I think tomorrow will be good. It's still going to be hot, but
I'm gonna go tomorrow.
Tomorrow afternoon probably be a little better because your barometer's going to start kicking up.
Yeah.
I'm not obviously the moon affects everything, including humans.
Well, it totally affects humans. It also affects fish. I mean, the whole fishing industry goes off a moon phase, and I don't know how, but they do. The tides and all that's affected. The red moon, I see more activity during the red moon phase. I don't know the science behind it. I just have an app on my phone, and it says when that red moon's going to be, and it tells you the time. I guess that's when the moon is closest to the Earth, the gravitational pull or something. It makes the pressure rise or whatever. But if you follow that, I feel like, or maybe it's just because I'm hunting more during those times because I feel like I need to be in the woods. But I'm seeing and killing more during the red moon phase.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what it was last Saturday and the Saturday before that because I killed deer on both of those mornings.
Yeah.
So morning time, early.
Probably, I don't know. It was right before the war kicked off, 99, 2000. Trail cams were just coming to be a big thing. And I took a whole deer season and I was running probably 2 or 3 cameras. I can't remember. But I went to Office Max or whatever, and I bought those big desk calendars, right? And when I would develop that, those old 35 millimeter film, I would go through each picture and record it on the calendar and compare it to the moon phase. And I couldn't find any distinguishable pattern on deer movement. But I mean, again, that's 2, 3 cameras. Yeah. Also, maybe it just wasn't in front of my camera.
Also, I do think it's a lot of this, and I think I need it. It's almost like a luck charm. I need something else because I don't feel confident in my own ability to pick the right time, day, pressure. There's so many variables going on that I just refuse to get proficient in.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't tell you right now, is it good to go hunting when the pressure's dropping, go fishing? If it's rising, go hunting? Is that how it goes? Or is it the opposite? I don't know.
Like I said, I like the barometer rising.
Yeah,
so guys that hunt the front side.
So if it's dropping, then you want to go fishing. That's an old saying, but I don't know. So having a little bit of the experts whoever they are, say that the major feeding times are between 3:30 and 6 o'clock. I feel good about it. It makes me more motivated. So maybe it's false motivation. I don't know, but I rely on it. It all goes out the window when I kill a deer because I don't care about it no more. Obviously, the job's done.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what it was. Like I don't remember. I know it was warm Saturday morning this past Saturday.
Yeah.
It wasn't cold. Okay, whatever boosts your confidence may not work in reality. That's what I was just trying to get at there, old buddy. Better chance to get lucky. Yeah. Makes you feel good. And it makes you feel more motivated about sitting in a fucking chair, not doing anything for 4 hours,
Yeah.
I get bored a lot. I can't sit all day. I mean,
Yeah.
I get 3. I like to climb. Like I don't like to climb until like 7 o'clock. The sun's already up. It's nice and easy. I never see deer really until, well, I say that and I just killed deer at 7:30 in the morning, but typically it's after like 8:30. And in the evening time, Randy likes to get in the stand at 1 o'clock. I like to get in the stand at like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So how do you? But you're an all day guy, so you like time in the stand.
No, when I hunted the Midwest a lot, it was a lot of 12-hour sits. But you're paying a lot of money. You're driving 16 hours to kill a deer.
That's different.
You need to take advantage of the time.
No. If I'm going to the Midwest, I'll sit all day, every day I'm there. Yeah.
I'll sit till noon. I think I've had better luck during the rut in the morning times.
Me too.
And I've killed all my better deer probably around 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
My deer that I've killed that are chasing have probably been around 10 o'clock ish. But I'll sit till noon. But I'll get, if I'm gonna hunt the rut, like if I think it's on, and it's watching the Fort Bragg page. It's looking at the road kills on the side of the road, talking to people, looking at Facebook on the North Carolina pages. You know when it's on.
Yeah. You start seeing the bucks.
I'll go get in my box blind with my buddy heater and whatever I want to eat and drink, and I'll sit there as long as I want to until I get bored.
That's different. If I had that, I always said if I had private land, it's like when I eventually my goal is met and I have my own property and I build my house on it, I plan on having like one of those deer blinds. It's like an office. You know what I mean? Like looks like this.
Yeah.
With a window, so I can. I'll sit there all day. I have everything I need, and the deer are gonna be fed.
It spoils you quick.
Yeah.
Like you won't even want to shoot a deer because like, hey, I'm gonna have to load him up. I gotta skin him.
I'm already.
But it gives you one thing I've noticed about comfort. It's hard to be comfortable deer hunting if you're hunting out of a stand, but obviously comfort is going to give you longevity in the woods. And the longer you sit in the woods, the more opportunity you have to see deer, the more opportunity you have to learn.
Exactly.
That's where I'm at now.
Exactly why I wear Sitka gear, because Sitka gear will actually keep you in the woods longer. Now, why the hell are you not utilizing Sitka gear?
I'm not paying.
You get 40% off. You're a veteran.
Money.
Huh?
I'm not paying that much for.
It's not even that expensive.
And,
you get 40% off.
And I fuck with my friends that wear Sitka so much that I can't.
You can't eat the crow.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. You can all like. Hey, look like this. You ride motorcycles?
Yeah.
Okay, so you saw my motorcycles out there. I got the Dyna and I got the Road Glide. I just got the Road Glide. For up until August of this year, if you would have asked me about a Road Glide, I would have told you that's an old man's bike. It's a geezer glider. I hate baggers. I like choppers. And I would make fun. My son-in-law went and got a Road Glide. And I was like, you're only like 26 years old. They're so gay. I went and bought one. Now I love it. Yeah. I fucking love it. So you just got to eat crow. It's like the new Road Glides anyway they're like sport bikes, So. All right, well, let's wrap this up. We don't have any more clothing doesn't kill. Yes, it does, Soldier Boy. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. The Fort Bragg hoodie. I tell you what, the Fort Bragg hoodie that we sold this year, I was wearing both days I killed those deer. So I promise you, clothing will make you a better hunter. But Brandon, thanks. Chuck.
Yeah,
we'll call you Brandon like we're still in the military. Thanks for coming in. Pleasure to re-meet you again.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all.